Welcome to another live stream edition of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeff.
Here we are. We have Conrad will be joining us in a little bit as well. He's in the waiting room currently, so we're going to have a full house here tonight. So hopefully you're all ready for another fun session. As always, we've got a fair bit to get through. So we're going to do the finale of our Blame Canada King of the Riff series, which this time around it is Rush versus Annihilator. So we're going to have some fun with that in a little bit of time. We're also going to be reviewing the latest from Aussie band Temtris. We're going to revisit a classic from Yngwie Malmsteen. We're going to discuss Megadeth. That's why Conrad's here. We're going to have some Megadeth chat. We're going to discuss some new music as always. What else have we got in tonight's little thing? The Build a Band. That's round 3 of that one now. So we're going to choose our rhythm guitarists on that. So, Jeff, I'm not sure where you're at with that, but maybe get a think cap on.
I'm up.
All right, cool. You good for it? All
I'm
right.
up.
Everyone's up and about. Everyone's up and about. But yeah, as always, got
lots of Friday orange. So.
Anyway, cool. All right, we're off to a flyer as always. Now, there'll be links we're going to share along the way. If you miss them in the chat, make sure you jump in the description because all the links we're talking about will be in there as well, for all the music we're talking about and everything else in there too. But we'll also share the microphone in the comments as we go along. We'll interact with people. Sure, we'll say some hello to a few people in a moment. But also check out our fantastic sponsors. A big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details are in the description box too, so give them a like or a follow. That'd be greatly appreciated. It helps us. And also, if you want to follow us on your preferred social platform, our details are there as well. We do highly recommend following us on those things because we have a lot of things coming up in the near future. Alrighty. We'll do a quick sort of hello to people and then we'll do the rounds. Andrew over on YouTube saying, evening, boys. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Same with Rowan, as always. Good to see you. Darren is saying, hey, yo, followed by what the fuck is that orange globe? That is the tip of a microphone.
It's just the tip. Just the tip. That's what the prostitute was it? Yeah.
That's what the prostitute. That's what the leper said to the prostitute.
That's right. I could. You beat me to it, but you knew the joke. That's right. Yep. Keep the tip.
Oh, here we go. So there you go, Darren. It's the tip. Dean's here saying, hey, Rockstars. Hey, we're off to a flyer, obviously, so hopefully you're keeping well too. And Sally is here again too, saying, hey, guys, good to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. We're in for another fun night. But before we get stuck into things, let's do the rounds. Dave, how's your week going?
I'm good. Being busy. Much the same as last week. Lots happening, but nothing seems to get done. So, the highlight of my week now is sitting here talking to you people, which is great because it helps me unwind, get through Friday, get to the weekend where I can hang out with my family. Jade likes to stay up late Fridays because she's older now, so she can watch some movies. We've got a whole bunch of cool movies slated for her. We just finished The Hobbit, the 3 of those movies, because we just finished Lord of the Rings.
Cool.
And we're going into Enola Holmes, Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. So she likes her, so she's going to watch them. But I got Die Hard and Speed on the list, so she's old enough to watch them. Maybe Aliens.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Zombie Day and Resurrection and all that Christ stuff. So I think that's going to be fun with zombies and everything. But I get to take some time off work. I got a week off work, which is going to be cool and unwinding. Kind of need it because after Christmas jumps in and it's just been non-stop. So cool to unwind again and just listen to some music. There's going to be some cool stuff out tomorrow. It's going to be a big day of releases tomorrow, including Lagerstein. They got a new album, new song out, new video, new Metallica. You said Carly Jewel's got a new song out.
Another one, Torrential Thrill new album comes out tomorrow.
Yes, new Torrential Thrill. We premiered their video a few weeks ago. So a lot of cool stuff coming tomorrow. But apart from that, I'm good. How you doing? How's Jeff doing?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned having time off work. Actually, I've been sick the last couple of days. So just
sucks.
Nothing like too major. I think it's just stomach ailment. Just been it's been coming out of both ends. If you know what I'm talking about.
I had that a few weeks ago. People claimed I was at Sheeran, but same result.
That'll do it. That will do it. But no. So I don't feel too bad right now, but earlier.
Oh, this could be a really messy night.
Yeah. Oh, it could be. If my screen suddenly goes black, you hear like footsteps running real quick, then you know why.
If your screen goes black and that orange glow stays there, I'm going to be very impressed.
Do you know why I added this? Because, well, like to mix it up, but orange actually is my favorite color, and
there you go.
It's the contrast of black. You know,
Nice.
Yeah, orange on black.
Yeah, I want the guitar, completely black, and then have like orange. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
I've already got an orange sparkle guitar, which is, I should show you. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. No, very.
I could.
That's what we should do one night, mate. We should jam on one of these live streams. I mean, we're not lagging or anything.
Yeah,
so well with
you
all.
You want to lose, lots of audience. That's get me in there. We'll
do like Trophy of the Metropolis and bore the shit out of everybody.
I haven't picked up my guitar properly in too long now. In way too long.
There we go.
It's no good for me now.
I mentioned it.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Hang on. There we go. Now you can see the sparkle.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful.
Dirty.
It's a lefty because I'm a lefty, right?
That's cool, though, man. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice guitar.
Very pretty guitar.
Randy Rhoads guitar strap. Gotta have that.
Very cool. Very nice.
Anyway, sorry, I indulged. And in other news, I while I mentioned feeling like shit, but what made me feel really good, obviously, is being here tonight. But one of my best friends is from Canada. He's been staying here. He's here for another week or so.
Nice.
And it's really good catching up. We caught up in 2019 before the pandemic. And but yeah, he's here. He's pretty good. He threatened that he would run by the door and do something weird. I don't know. I said, I can't stop you.
Do it.
Funny as long as he's not nude.
It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for OnlyFans. That's for the OnlyFans.
OnlyFans version. Yeah.
I've got a great idea for OnlyFans, but I'm not sure.
Are you going to do Only Dance or Only Dance? That's the Burley version. Only Dance. The lumberjack version. Only Dance.
That's what
I'm a lumberjack. And
we'll all get our guitars and play I'm a lumberjack. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. Only Dance.
We'll get the guitars and play Canada.
Oh my god, here we go.
We could do that. It's funny because I was playing the American national anthem on my guitar, and my buddy, who's a great guitar player, he goes, "All right, that's cool, but can you do the Canadian?" And I went, "Nope."
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I've never tried to learn it.
It's going to be.
What can I say? Does Canada have a national anthem? And I'm just like, I remember like the Heart Foundation and the wrestling. Brett made all the Americans listen to the Canadian national anthem.
Yeah, you should remember at least when Bret Hart came to WCW and had Kurt Hennig singing the Canadian national anthem at the start of Nitro.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was an old.
I remember that the West Texas Rednecks with the Rap Is Crap song. That was
after, but yeah, that was kind of what started it. Knowing when they worked out that Kurt Hennig could actually sing as well as everything else he was doing when he was Mr. Perfect before that. They got him doing that country thing after that too. But that whole singing thing when he actually could sing, and Bischoff was caught off guard, very surprised about how well Kurt Hennig could actually sing, so they decided to make it into a thing later on.
Cool. I didn't know that. Did not know that.
It's a random one for you.
Anyway, that's me. Andrew, how are you?
I'm good. Busy as always. It's been a fucking hectic week because we're going away over Easter. So for us to go away, there's a bit of prep involved in that. So that's been just getting set up for that is always madness, but it's always good because when you get through it, it's like, okay, cool. It's a good feeling. So, burn some annual leave from work and do that. That'll be good. Just the same old, nothing new to report. I'll get to a bin later on, which is a bit of a downer, but otherwise, generally speaking, pretty good. The downside of things was that, Channel 31 had a bit of a wires cross moment on Saturday night where they played the wrong episode. Turns out that because it was like February 25th last month and this month was March 25th, and they're both on the 25th, they put the wrong one in. But Jeff, in good news, we're airing the full marathon this coming Saturday night instead. So the full 2-hour episode of Canadian stuff, followed by the marathon, is going to air this coming Saturday night on Channel 31. So make sure you check it out. And if you're tuning into us, make sure you do jump off to go to watch Channel 44 at some point. So we kick off at 10:30 p.m. local time on Channel 44 Adelaide every Thursday night. It's 10:30 p.m. Saturday night on Channel 31 in Melbourne. But yeah, so that's actually happening. So that was it was sort of a Saturday. I was like, oh, bugger. But then at the same time, it was cool to get it rescheduled for this week. One of the good things was actually I made a new tile. For those that follow my personal page, you'll have seen it, for my nephew, his birthday over the weekend, which is really cool. So he was really happy with that. So that was a nice little thing to have done there. So that's always cool. Like having this engraver I'm playing with and learning it and stuff at the moment, and doing this stuff with my nephews and nieces has been absolutely blasting their faces when they check it out. So they're always happy to see those little gifts come through, which that kind of makes my day whenever I do that. So that's really cool. Those are the sort of highlights of my little things at the moment. And yeah, everything's good though. Can't really complain too much. I'm in a good place overall, which is it's a good thing. Let's see. What do we got here? We got Vinny. Oh, here we go. Vinny's joined us. Eating, lads. Hope you're keeping well. I'm chuffed that Shannon Swolsey has been plugging Uber Eats. It seems that he's that's not all he's been plugging. Ready to say hi to your mum and your missus. I don't know anything about that.
I don't know anything about that, but it was very suggestive.
There's not a lot of grey area in that one, but no.
It depends where all the mum is.
Dave. Gangbang at the old folks' home, Dave.
You did mention grey, so
yeah, well, it was just a tip. David says, "G'day, fellas. I'm a few beers down. Hope you are too. All the best. If you can't tell, looks like we are." Dean says, "Did you see that there's a little teaser of a new festival that's coming out with Metallica, AC/DC, Gun, etc. very soon? Powered Trip Festival, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
it's coming up. Don't know too much about it, but yeah, bands are teasing it like no tomorrow. So hopefully there's something coming out or more info on that will come soon.
With AC/DC and Guns N' Roses on the same show, you got to have Angus playing for Guns N' Roses, and you got to have Axl and Brian Johnson sharing a song. Because there's crossover history there, man. It's going to be fucking cool.
It'd be cool. It'd be interesting to see the logistics of this thing. I dare say it'll be one city in like the US only. I don't see people are saying it's a tour, but I'm like, boy, logistically that's a lot. But you never know. Apparently
on the same fucking tour again. Jesus Christ.
I know, right? But could history repeat? But this Not Fest apparently went off like a frog in a sock. So well done to everyone involved in that one, because I've heard nothing but great things about that festival, which is awesome to see. Terry says, "Hi guys, good to see you, buddy, as well. Hopefully you're keeping well out there." Salah says, "Yay, Carly, I'll be on that." Very, very cool. David says, "Orange amps." So there we go. A lot of people love that amplification, orange amps. So there we go.
Too.
Yes. Vinny says, "That's where one Kiwi says to another when they wrestle over one ship, 'I'm not Sheeran.'" Oh my goodness.
Has anyone seen that movie Black Sheep?
No.
Oh, it's so fucking good. Me and Julia went to the movies about 15 years ago and saw it. It's a Kiwi movie. They made it, but it's like this radioactive sheep. They become fucking mutant evil sheep. And there's the most fucked up sex scene ever.
Only you find these things. You know that you are the only person I know that
release, for Christ's sake. It's more than
so. We got sex with sheep, Vaseline tissues. What aren't you telling us, Dave?
Well, this dude's brother's knocking on his door. He goes, "What's going on in there?" And the guy's like, "You wouldn't understand." And he hears,
yeah. All right. I'll let you.
Yeah, Black Sheep.
That's bad.
Bad TV.
Oh, here we go.
Fun though. A few beers, Black Sheep. It's all good.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Vinny, it's all your fault.
Well. Sorry, Dave.
It's all Vinny's fault. He brought up.
That's why I say you two in a room together is not allowed. Okay, never happening.
Oh man.
Or if it does happen, I'm recording the whole goddamn lot.
That's what when we go for a no plans episode of this, it's going to be fucking great.
Be off the wall. It's going to be bonkers. That is coming, folks. We are planning that one. Philo's here saying, "Hello, omnipotent standing rockers. Go with 200 bells." Yes, we're all here again. Thank you for joining us overseas there too. Yeah. David says, "Show your guitar day. Do a fans guitar segment. Show your strings." There is something in that. We could do a show your gear.
Fucking gear. All four of them. All lined up. Yeah. 2 electric, 2 acoustic.
Oh, goodness. Caesar.
So you dogs.
I play too, and I want in.
Yeah. I've got dogs losing their mind over here, so that's always fun.
That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah. Sally says, "Naked Canadian Flash," talking about your temporary roommate there, Jeff. So we'll see what happens in that one.
It's possible. It's possible.
But Loose also going to the Canada connection. Forget
It's the strong Canada connection is strong today.
It is
in
it
this
is
house.
today. We're getting a lot
I'm
of
not
it.
your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, pal.
Nicole's here in and out. Apparently, she's going, hello, all having internet issues, so I'm in and out.
Oh.
Sorry. Hopefully, get to see
I know,
some of
that's
the
right.
show.
I might be able to help
hopefully-
you. I'm an
Yeah,
internet
well,
guy.
you know all that sort of stuff. But yeah, hopefully it fixes up
I'm
for
back
you.
myself.
Yeah. Darren's going, Henning, what a legend. Yes, he was fantastic. Chris is here saying hi, all. Good to see you again, too. Vinny says, PSA, we get an extra hour of sleep this weekend with daylight savings ending. Time to adjust your morning wood, lads. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good PSA. Here we go. Yep. Vinny does know the movie, Dave. This is why you two. Yes, Black Sheep is a winner. So there we go.
Corsican Brothers, cheapers.
Yeah. No, seriously, like a good Friday night, 6-pack of fucking slab of beer, Black Sheep, Deathgasm. No sheep, man. You watch other people doing this shit. And you laugh at them. Jesus Christ, man. Don't want to be weird.
This is
Black
fucking New Zealand.
Deathgasm.
Oh.
So it's on your preview. Mad Heidi is a Swiss exploitation movie, crowdfunded. It's about this fucking Swiss chick in like the Swiss getup, and she becomes like a mercenary and gets revenge on people that were bad to her. Sounds fucking great. I'm gonna have to get that one. Mad Heidi.
You and your collection of obscure films, Dave. It is a thing we're gonna have to do one day. We're gonna have to.
I'm impressed. I think that's absolutely what needs to happen. We need a camera and go through all the films and shit that you got. I'm sorry.
All the fucked up movies.
Yeah.
I can't speak highly enough about Deathgasm. Any movie that kills where people kill a zombie with a dildo is fucking gold.
I don't remember that, but I may have blocked that scene out. Remember, I don't know.
It's just like the main kids.
That was in the special features, right?
No, the main kid's cousin. His parents are really conservative, religious types. So when they're looking for things to kill the zombies with, they get into their bedroom and they find like anal beads and dildos, and they're like swinging them around and taking out the zombies. It's fucking great.
Oh my goodness! All right, we're gonna have to get Dave's movie segment on the show at some point, I reckon.
It's gonna happen. What obscure film is that?
Right, we're going. Philo is saying Jeff will have to show his balls or bells, not balls.
Bells.
Sorry.
I said before we can have a bell unboxing. I've got literally boxes of bells that have never been seen the light of day in Australia. They're still
We've got to get Bell in to rate your bells.
There we go. That's
Bell. Wow. This is
Bell's bell fun. Rating.
Yeah, well,
we can call a segment Hell's Bells. Yeah.
Bell's bells.
No, bells.
Well, who are the bells?
For whom the
Dean's
bells
asking a pointed question. You're going, is Dave on the Aldi wine again? I think so. That answers that question for everyone tonight. Darren, if you're looking,
we haven't even started yet. We're still in the hellos, aren't we?
No, we haven't started yet. Darren's put the Black Sheep trailer over on the Facebook comments for people that want to check out the Black Sheep trailer. I can't share a link. I can show the comment, but it doesn't do much because it's just a link on Facebook comments. But go and check it out. Darren is saying, "Show the dungeon, Dave." We are going to have to do that at some point. Vinny says the hero is George Fakakakis. I'm not sure what. Okay.
I think for Deathgasm. I think.
Oh, okay. There we go. I'm not sure.
Could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Dean's going, what is happening? I have no idea. We've lost control in 5 minutes in.
Just
Fella's gone highway to Bell. So there we go.
To Bell. That's
Smelly says it's Bell's birthday today. Well, there you go. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Bell.
Yeah, did not know that. Happy birthday, Bell. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. Andrew says Mad Heidi looks great with people getting tortured with cheese fondue. Okay.
Yes. So many cheesy jokes in it.
Oh my god, this is going to be a long night.
You know who to blame, don't you? It's not me this time.
No, I know it's not you this time. This is going to be a fun one. Gear is having Viking Queen of their stuff dropping out as well. The new album, Hail to the King, is out.
I listened to it. I did.
Oh, cool. What do you think?
I like it. You know who it really reminded me of? The Blind Guardian. It sounded like a lot like Blind Guardian, and it had this I don't know. I think that the production on some of the songs was a bit uneven, but I liked it. I thought it was musically, it was really good, but it has a very Blind Guardian sort of feel.
Awesome. I mean, gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Cool. Rowan's jumped into the Discord saying happy birthday, Bell. So
just saw that came on my screen.
Thank you, Rowan. Thank you, Rowan, for jumping in there and saying that. please, if you jump in there, I can't do that while I'm doing this, obviously, but yeah, jump in and say, yeah, we're all saying happy birthday to her at the same time, which is
jump on that Discord, join the chat, share music.
Yeah.
Absolutely, some absolute legends.
Yeah, I'm going to be just stay tuned as well because with that idea we had last week, I'm thinking about calling it the Rock Garden. I'll make sense of that later on. But yeah, I'm gonna set up a different Discord thing to have a lot of fun with that whole sharing a song once a day kind of thing. I reckon I've got an idea. I'm gonna line that up. So hopefully next week I'll be able to release that for everyone. So stay tuned. There's more to come on that. Vinny says cheese lovers tend to melt into one another's arms. Very touching. Oh, there we go.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that had a very soft landing. Darren's jumping saying birthday Bell. So we're getting a lot of love for Bell today, which is fantastic.
We could be like a trio, like with like cheese strings. Get it?
Just become Green Bay Packers fans and wear the cheese hats. That's what we need to do. Anyway, all right, let's talk about some music. Let's get to some let's get to our songs of the week quickly here. I'm not sure if you've checked any of this out, Jeff, but doubtful, but we'll see if we can sell you to go on.
I haven't. I suck really bad.
That's all right. It's all good. So Dave's song of the week is the latest from Mammoth WVH, also known as Wolfgang Van Halen. This song is called Another Celebration at the End of the World. It's from the new album, which is announced called Mammoth 2, due out on August the 4th. Dave, your pick of the week this week is that one. Like I said, there's a link in the comments. There's also a link in the description for those tuning in later on or whatever else as well. Go and check it out while we have a chat. This is cool. This is a really cool video. Dave,
I did this.
Oh, nice. We can get Jeff on this one as well then. Cool. But Dave, why did you pick this one as your song of the week?
This is fucking amazing. I can't even remember how this came across my social media or whatever. Just like, oh, new Mammoth. I've got to check this out. So didn't like listen on Spotify. I clicked the video on YouTube. That's the way you got to hear it for the first time. Because it starts, if you saw Don't Back Down a few years ago, he does everything in the video. So drums, bass, guitar, even engineering the song. It's a cool video. This kind of follows on from that, where he's talking to himself and he's keep fucking up the solo. So he's like, dude, you don't even know. You're fired, dude. You're out. You're done. I'm not working. So he ends up in the bar feeling sorry for himself, and this other drummer who won Battle of the Bands 20 years ago comes along. He's just like, you're the dude I need. And then it gets back to the rehearsal space and they start the song. The fucking drums just start pounding. I'm just like, okay, cool. The video in itself is entertaining and interesting, but then the song starts like, okay, you got my attention. Like, fucking, holy shit, this is cool.
3 minutes into that song, like 3 or 4 minutes into the video.
It kept your attention for the entire time. Then the drums start, riff comes in, Wolfgang's vocals come in. It's like, fucking hell, the original album was great, but whatever you're doing next, it's just fucking miles ahead. So if the whole album's on this level of energy, it's amazing. Song fucking rocks. The vocals are cool, drums are cool, bass, guitar, the solo section, but that heavy section where they come in just before the solo, that fucking smoked. And performances all around are fantastic, but the video itself is a lot of fun. The ending's cool when drummer finally turns up. Wolfgang drummer. What's going on? I can't say enough cool things about this. I mean, and it's not just the video. I've been listening to it on Spotify, and the song itself is fantastic. So the video is a cool introduction to it, but the song is just fucking it's just energetic rock and roll. It's great musicianship, great performances. It's just fucking good.
Cool. Well, Jeff, you have checked it out. So anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, well, as it happens, I know this one. I have seen this one. And the video is fantastic. And it does follow on from that previous song where he was like every role. I really think that he has a sense of humor that is as big as his last name. He really does. In fact, I caught him on Twitter. Not that I hang out on Twitter, but I did see this. And people, this was just in the last week or so, and he was replying to their tweets until eventually it got so stupid that he said, I'm out. And Twitter has done something. I'm cutting this off. But people basically are saying, dude, you need to change your last name. You're just on your father's legacy. And he's like,
he cops a lot.
I was literally born with this name.
Yeah.
Like, what part don't you fucking understand?
Yeah.
You know, he's got as much right to that name as anybody.
He's got more right, if anyone.
He's his own man, too. He's fucking great musician.
He's in his 30s. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
yeah.
You know, look, the guy is a phenom, as they say.
Yeah.
You know, obviously his father and stuff like that, and he'll never have the legacy that his father did. But he's playing drums, he's singing, he's playing bass. You know,
Rhythm,
keyboards,
lead.
the whole
Yeah.
bit. His father was
producing
obviously
it.
very musical, and
Mm.
it's just, you know, the apple has not fallen far from the tree
Mhm.
at all.
He's a very good musician.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to him for many, many years.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So I
Well,
loved it. Anyway, go ahead.
No. I think that if you're generating that kind of online disdain, I think that's more of a sign you've made it than anything else, if that makes sense, because people only come for you when you're not the pat on the head kind of person anymore. When they're trying to tear you down, you're doing something really special. So just keep doing what you do. And if he does, then I'm going to be fucking rapt, because this song is fantastic. If you haven't listened to the debut album from 2021, fuck, you missed out. Go and listen to it, because it's phenomenal. But this guy has a knack. Like, sorry, go on.
No. Go ahead. I was just stuck my finger in my eye.
Why not? Let's all stick our finger in our eye.
It's okay.
Why does this hurt?
Yeah. We had Tabitha years ago get cookie in her eye. That was funny as fuck.
That was so funny.
That was hilarious. But the video is awesome. But what's cool is not only the sense of humor that he's got, which is on display in this one, but going back to the previous album, that one where he did it with his father, and the voicemail left at the end. Like, he's got the right touch for the heartfelt kind of thing as well. He's exceptionally talented, this bloke. This song picks up right where the last album left off. It's got a great riff, great hook, great energy. It has everything you want from modern hard rock songs. It's got, you know, balls, melody, solos. It's infectious as all fuck as well. Like, I'm so damn pumped for the album after hearing this song. Like, if you didn't, like I said, if you didn't check out the album, you've got time. Go and check it out before this one drops in August. But this one has some cool gear changes in it too. Like, I love the chunky riff change as well before the solo. Dave, that heavier part is just so cool.
And YouTube keeps putting an ad in there.
No,
that slight pause just before it kicks in with that heavy riff. Like, fuck off with your fucking ad.
YouTube Premium, you don't get that, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not paying for YouTube. I listen on Spotify.
But the song, like, we've talked about the video a lot, but the song, I've listened to it on Spotify like a half dozen times today. Today was the first time I checked it out. And it's absolutely phenomenal just to listen to it. And it's not tiring at all. Like, it's so good. It sounds fantastic. He's a great mixer as well as a multi-instrumentalist. Like, he is so good at what he does. I think this song's fantastic. If it doesn't get you pumped for the album, I don't know what will, because I think it's just picked up right where it left off. I love the artwork for the single as well. The skeleton with it just looks like he's blowing his load with the fireworks going off in the background. I mean, it's very, very cool. So everything about this, from concept to artwork to production to songwriting, everything is really cool. I think this is really hot take territory, because I think he's like 32, 33 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think, while, like Jeff, you said he won't probably have the legacy his father does right now, I think at some point we're going to have a conversation about whether or not he's a better musician. Because I think...
he may very well be, because we know that Eddie couldn't play drums to save his life. That's why Alex, originally it was the other way. Alex was on guitar, Eddie was on drums. Yeah. This guy can do it all. He can do it all.
And produce and all those things. And I think that he could really, because he's so young, really lead the charge for many, many years to come on bringing back sort of a rock resurgence, because he has the name to go with it as well.
Yeah. He's had some really high-profile support slots too. He opened for Guns N' Roses for a while, so
that's right.
He's getting his name out there.
He did that tribute at the Taylor Hawkins thing when he played Card for Teacher. That was like a jaw-dropping moment. He played that note for fucking note, didn't miss it. In fact, it was so good that people said, "No, it's fake." No way he could do that. And I'll tell you, he did do that live.
Yeah. If anyone can do it, I reckon that's why we'll have to have that conversation, I think, in due course, because I already think he's probably there, to be honest, as a better overall musician than his dad, which is probably sacrilege to a lot of people out there. But
he doesn't have the music legacy behind him. But
not yet.
As you said, give him time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's an interesting conversation.
Different times, different generations. It's not going to...
Like, he'll never invent the guitar like his father did.
That's
already been done, right? He can't do that. But as far as playing, now I would get back to the song. Just, did you guys catch a little bit of almost that riff was like Nirvana-ish? Did you get that vibe? Yeah.
There's
I definitely heard that. There was like
No.
Dave,
Dave.
there was a definite fucking. I'm not crazy. Well, that's debatable, but
No,
I could hear it.
Well,
I
yeah,
could hear it.
Wolfgang
In that
Van
over,
Halen, the Kurt Cobain. Jesus
whatever
no,
riffs
but
they were.
there's
That's
a
fucking
rhythmic
sacrilege.
there's a
I'm
rhythmic
sorry.
pulse to it, which has that kind of. It's not a big deal. It's a subtle element. I think that what Wolf is able to do so well is he's able to basically be a complete chameleon. I reckon he could play anything he wanted to and make it work.
Yep. In any genre.
In any genre, yeah, that's what I mean. Like he could do anything. I think that's what's going to be so interesting about watching what he does over the years to come. I'm tipping that this album is going to have a few gear changes that we haven't seen yet because the first album was phenomenal. I reckon he's going to explore some more boundaries because he's clearly fearless, which is fantastic. I love an artist that's fearless.
That's right. And why should he? Why should he?
No, I agree. He's fucking phenomenal.
Absolutely.
But so I think that because he's so fearless and because let's face it, I don't think he needs the money, so he can do whatever he wants. Right. Kind of thing. So, and I mean that with all the good things in the world. Like this gives him, he's got the best of it all. He's got the genetics, he's got the talent, and he's got the ability with, financial means, I believe. I don't know for sure, but I would think so, that he doesn't need to do anything but worry about what he wants to do from his heart and soul. And I think that someone so talented, given that freedom, could be really interesting to watch what happens over the next sort of 10, 20, 30 years if he chooses to continue doing it for that long. So I'm pumped. I'm very, very pumped for what this guy can do.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got some comments coming through, I think. Tom, good to see you again, buddy. He's going, great tune. Wolfie brings the heavy, which is nice. Sally says, I got to say, Wolf is yet to let me down. He's killing it. Love the song and the video and his humor. I play Mammoth a lot. Nice. Vinny says, I'm also hoping as he picks up fans along the way, they deep dive into Van Halen. That's a good point too. That will revisit and reinvigorate that thing as well. Here we go. Tom says he's opening for Metallica this summer, which is cool. That's a great slot.
My buddy's going to be there to see it in Canada.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. And Benjamin, good to see you as well, buddy. He's gone as fearless as a cat burying shit on concrete. You've been watching Football for Ninja. Chris also says there's a Foo Fighters vibe to this song. There is a bit of that too. And that's what this is what makes him so interesting. Is he's able to do so much into one song, which gives you what are you going to get from the album? This is what we're all talking about on one song. What are we going to get from this album? So bring it the fuck on. All right, I'm going to change gears and bring in my song of the week this week, which is a cover, believe it or not. This is from Aussie band Ice on Mercury from South Australia, if I recall correctly. They called it a day quite some time ago. I think 7 years in my notes. But they got together recently, and this was a song they used to play live but never recorded. So they got together recently, put this down, and allowed us all to enjoy it. So this is Ice on Mercury with their take on the classic track Shine, which is a cover of the 1993 Collective Soul song. Like I said, released as a brand new single for this one. As it's my pick of the week, I'll go on it. I've got a lot of love for these guys. I love listening to their stuff. I've still got a bunch of their stuff in my collection musically here as well. They were fantastic to interview. Lovely people, just on top of everything else as well. Absolutely fantastic guys hanging around with for a day. But I was so sad when they called it a day. I didn't like it because they're so good at what they do, and there's not many bands like these guys either. So as such, they've always had their own spin. They do things a little bit differently, and this song, follows along with that. They are very, very faithful to the original. I'll say that. They're very faithful to it. But at the same time, they change it up by adding some growls to it. They added some more grit to it. How they balanced the growls and the use of harmony in the chorus, and that was really well done across this song for mine. Added heavier tone, got the grit into it. They've got a great job of putting themselves into this song without taking away the soul of it. So it's one of those ones that's sneaky because it's a song that everyone knows. Like if you hear it, you'll hear the opening guitar and you'll know the song immediately. And they've kept that sort of heart and soul of the song, which means it'll suck more people in than would be expected to, if that makes sense. Like it makes it very accessible to a lot of people out there. It's just a cool, heavier version of a song that everyone knows and a lot of people love out there. So I love the double kick moment right toward the end of the song. That was a really cool little touch in there too. It's been 7 years since they released anything, or since they called it a day, I should say. They are teasing that they may do more after this. So I'm fingers crossed hoping that they do, because I love everything these guys have done in this song. A fantastic one for mine. So I wanted to give it a bit of love. I want to quote unquote shine a bit of a light on this song in particular. So I really did enjoy this one quite a bit. Dave, what about you?
Yeah, this is fucking great. It was either their last gig or very close to their last gig at the Elephant and Wheelbarrow about 7 years ago. They were a fucking great live band. I have very fond memories of that night. It's one of those gigs that just stayed with you. It was my first time seeing them, and then they broke up very very soon after that. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
and they're great live
Oh.
too.
Yeah,
So good.
the music was great. It was the first time I got to see them, but don't remember them playing this live then. But they did do "Killing in the Name of." And I thought I don't particularly like that "Killing in the Name of," but they did a fucking great version of it. They had the whole room going. That was a good room too. But yeah, I didn't know until about 4 minutes ago that this was Collective Soul originally doing this song. I knew the song, but yeah, Collective Soul really wasn't on my radar back then.
No.
But obviously, it's one of those songs that everyone knows.
Mm.
I wasn't big on that song. This is a much better version of it, and it does stay faithful, as you mentioned, to the original. But Ice and Mercury bring their own. It's not aggression, but it's
There's
that
weight.
performance, their style. So the drums are heavier, the bite and the vocals is a bit heavier, and it just makes what was an average song originally for me, one that you hear all the time on radio. It's like this is breathing new life into it. This is the way the song should have been. I much prefer this to the original. So yeah, this is very cool to hear a song that I completely forgotten about. But as soon as it started, like you mentioned, it's like, fuck, I know this song. And yeah, Ice and Mercury, everything they touch turns to fucking gold. So if they want to make some more music, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, I would love to have that myself personally. I'm going to go on a limb here and say, Jeff, I'm not sure you've checked this one out. So
are you checking it out now?
No, I will.
No, that's all good.
What I do is I go back.
Are you looking at Black Sheep?
Yeah, you got me. I go back and actually follow, so I make sure things, sometimes when I'm missing, I'll go back and watch myself and go, "Oh, you look good, Jeff." No, I do honestly.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's all good. I didn't expect this one because I tend to go for the more under the radar stuff. I don't expect that it's checked out until. That's why I'd like doing this sort of song of the week kind of segment on the show. Bring some songs into the light and go, here you go, check this one out. Mal jumped into the comments saying, Ice and Mercury, no way. I used to work with their guitarist Nath. All right, cool. They are phenomenal. Like, they've got this new song out. It's only a couple of weeks old now. So hopefully it gets some love and go and check it out, people. Let us know what you think. All right, time for a quick gig plug. If you've been following us, you know this is the last chance to save the total. I'm not going to go on and on about the spiel of the whole thing. There's a link in the comments in the description as well. I'll breeze through this one pretty quickly. It's just basically they're looking to raise half of a $6 million plus buyout fee basically for the tote. The tote is up for sale. The Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar are trying to get as many people together as they can to avoid the tote falling into a developer's hands basically, and we lose the venue forever. The goal is for these guys to purchase the venue, tied up in red tape and whatever else legalese they can do to make it a permanently existing live music venue, basically put it in perpetuity for all time. And they've got plans. They have a very good, clear plan in mind of how they're going to do that and turn the place around and make it more viable overall to bring the scene back in. We've also seen articles kicking around lately about other venues in New South Wales, in particular, kicking pokies out. So there is hope for venues to focus on being music and public in type places again. So hopefully we can get the tote back up and running. If you've got the ability and the time, check out the link. If you feel like you can, put some money into it. Otherwise, just share around on social. Let's get the word out there about this one. I think last week, as we talked about it, it was sitting on around $200,000 raised in the Possible campaign, which again, if it doesn't go ahead, no one gets charged a cent. So it's like you put the money in, that only gets charged if they win or get to the target. They're looking to get $3 million. They're sitting at a little bit under $500,000 now. So it's jumped up quite a bit over the last week. So anyone that can, jump in, see if you can give it some support. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. We'll keep watching this space and hopefully, fingers crossed, they can get there, because I know that it depends on how long it takes for the sale to go through at this point in time. So they're basically just trying to be able to compete with the developers out there, and hopefully they can get a hold and purchase it. But we'll see what happens in that regard. But yeah, if you can, get in there, try and help save the tote from a developer, because we don't want to lose any more venues in this great city of ours as it stands. Alrighty, I think it's time. To bring Thor into proceedings. We need to get the lightning and the thunder and all the rest going on as well. So let's drag him into the stream here and let's say hello to Conrad. Here we go. How you going, mate?
G'day, how's it going?
I love it.
Hey. How are you?
Nice.
Can you hear me okay?
Vegan, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Okay, this internet connection is not the best. I'm sorry. I'm at my parents' place, and
that's all good, mate.
They have a very slow internet.
That's the main thing.
They have a very slow internet connection. It's powered by Steam, I believe.
Oh yeah,
or a hamster running around in a wheel.
hamster on a wheel. Yeah,
Yeah.
can hear the squeak.
So I will have it sorted in a couple of weeks. I'll be on Dodo and it'll be better.
You're all good, mate. It's just good to see you. Hopefully, you've been keeping well. We'll
Yeah.
get to you a second, but just quickly, Vinny's jumped in saying, "Woohoo! Avengers Assemble! Here we go." Stuff happening there. Benjamin's jumped in saying McDonald's Wi-Fi. So that's there as well.
McDonald's Wi-Fi.
But we have a particular reason. We're going to be getting onto a bit of a Megadeth discussion shortly, but we have no one more primed to talk about Megadeth than the mighty Conrad right now, because I believe you've been following the band around the last little bit. And
I did.
Yep.
I did pretty much the whole tour whilst they were all the not. Well, I did every show bar Brisbane. So I did Adelaide, Melbourne, side shows, plus the 2 not fests in Melbourne and Sydney as well. And I incorporated that into moving to my folks for 3 months before I head off to London. So it was kind of the timing of it all worked out quite well.
That's all right.
So I took a backpack with me. And just sort of did it in one direction. Sort of went from Adelaide through up to Sydney, and then moved to mum and dad. So it worked out quite well. Exhausting, mind you.
Yeah, you must be tired.
Fucking exhausting. Exhausting, but yeah.
But how was the shows? How was the tour? Give us your thoughts on the whole thing.
Adelaide was nice. It was very pleasant, incredibly pleasant. Adelaide was nice. It was good. A few technical issues to begin with. There was a bit of time in between the songs. I noticed this because I've seen the live streams of the shows of the last sort of 2 years. I've been watching them, so I knew that something wasn't quite right. But after about 3 songs, it was sorted. So there was some technical issues there, but other than that, the show was great. I mean, he sounded great. His voice sounds really strong. It's stronger than he has done in the last. Like, certainly looking at the YouTube footage over the last couple of years, now sounds stronger. He's sounding really good. Out here in Australia, it was sounding great. The sideshow in Melbourne was stunning. It was incredible. Cool. I think Jeff was there, and it was unbelievable. I thought it was just off the scale. It was really good. The atmosphere at that show was brilliant as well. Everyone was really into it. You know, the whole crowd went ape shit for it, and you know, and you could tell the band were really into it and loving it. You know, he spoke a little bit, not a great deal. Spoke a bit between the songs. Went off at security towards the end of the show because they were mishandling fans. So he chewed out security towards the end of the show because they're obviously not treating the fans the way in which they should be treated and shouldn't have to ask for. You know, being mishandled. So he chewed them a new asshole, which was justified. Yep. Melbourne Knotfest was good, but the audience were just some of the most fucktarded dickheads on the planet. They're those people that you'll never see at a local gig ever, and they'll go out to their one fucking like international every 1 to 3 years. They'll be there from fuck knows where they come from, and they'll behave like the worst people on the planet. And there was a lot of that there. They're just gronk fucktards. And I pray they never have children. I really do, because they're just fucking idiots. Yeah. So there was a bit of that. There was an element of that there in the Melbourne Knotfest.
Yep.
Sydney, not surprisingly, not so much of that in Sydney actually, and I thought it would have been worse. Okay. I thought Sydney would have been worse for that, but it wasn't a good actually. Yeah. But yeah, great gigs. No, it's stunning. I couldn't fault them. They're really good. Something was pissed Mustaine off though at the Knotfests. I think something pissed him off, and he wasn't in the best of moods. Certainly cut his speeches in half in Sydney. He was cutting the speeches down by half. Certainly on the Knotfest. And I heard that something had gone down. I don't know what, but something had gone down. I went to signing. They had a signing in Sydney at Utopia Records.
Oh, cool.
And he was in a foul fucking mood. So he was shocking. He did not want to be there at all. The rest of the band were great, but he was not happy to be there. So don't agree to doing a signing. It was a bit because you know, being a big fan that I am, and having met him many times over the years, he's been absolutely delightful and lovely over the years. And then this week he did not want to be there at all, and you know, if you don't want to do the signing, then don't agree to it. You know, plain and simple. You know,
Well,
that's
maybe
the
he
way
just
it-
woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day.
I heard, I
Yeah.
did see someone else say something somewhere about that too. So you weren't the only one that picked up on him being in a foul mood. So yeah,
No.
some people have
Yeah.
said some things online, but yeah, it
I
wasn't the best.
I
mood
think
to sign.
something's happened. I think something's taken place, and whether we'll ever find out, I don't know. But something's obviously taken place, and it's really fucking pissed him off and put his nose out of joint because he's not happy. But Sydney got, I could tell at the beginning of the set in Sydney, he wasn't too happy. And then by the end of the set, he was a lot cheerier. So, yeah.
Okay.
Cutting the speeches in half in Sydney. So, yeah, but definitely the highlight of all of those 4 shows, I'd have to say would be the Melbourne side show was definitely the best.
Cool.
That was amazing. That was killer. And anybody that was at that show, if you ask anybody that went to that show, I think they'll all tell you the same thing and say it was off the hook, it was off the scale, it was off the chain, it was brilliant. It was really, really good. Yeah.
The highlight for Melbourne show was meeting you, motherfucker. That was cool.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that was great. I really mean that. It was cool. It was cool to catch up. One thing, do you remember when he got booed during the show when he mentioned the Dystopia cover, the Sydney Bridge?
I don't think he understands.
No, he didn't. He mentioned the cover as like, because it's Sydney, and then he's going, "Yeah, we love this country so much of yours that we decided to put your bridge on the cover of our album." And people are like,
"We're all going,
boo!"
Yeah, doesn't realize that we fucking hate Sydney here.
That's why he's pissed off at the signing. He got booed.
Yeah,
maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of artists actually know the history. That they don't. A lot of artists come out here and they don't realize
the rivalry. Yeah,
you know, they nothing at all. Yeah, so it was funny. It was funny. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was good,
it's funny how
to catch up.
Go on.
Sorry, I tried to catch up with Belle. If Belle's watching, I tried to catch up with her in Sydney at Knotfest, but the delays with text messages, you got thousands and thousands of people there, and the delays with text messages, they were coming through like hours later. So you get your text messages hours later. So there was no way we tried to align and meet up, but it just didn't happen. There was thousands of people there. It was just too difficult to make it happen. We did try, but I got the messages later, as did she. And then she was taking off early in the morning the next morning. But me saying this about Sydney, I'm living only 2 hours south now, so
yeah, well,
I won't be able to hate on it as much as I used to now.
Nah, but we've got the Melbourne seed sown deep. That's one thing that will never leave you now.
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
Cool.
A fun little side note to all this. My younger brother, he's a fair bit younger than me. He's been deep diving into Megadeth's discography of late too. So he's making a new journey now, seeing the band. And he saw them at Knotfest and he was really happy with it. So just as a side note there, it's just cool to see my brother getting into this band that I know a lot of people out there love and sort of he's taken a bit of encouragement and he's starting to go through not only old thrash but new thrash bands. He likes thrash in general, but he's just starting to actually deep dive into things now and get into the real nitty gritty of it all, the more underground side of things, which is cool. I like seeing my little brother come along and find these things at his own pace, at his own time. I'm not forcing things on him like that, but it's just sort of like he just comes to me and asks questions, and I'm happy to give whatever information I can. But no, it's cool that he's enjoying Megadeth and he had a good time at the show as well. So for more reports, the Melbourne shows, good stuff.
I think musically they outshined every band on Knotfest. They just outplayed. I mean, musically, musicianship wise, it was a no contest. It was just like you just wiped the floor with everybody, But whether or not the audience could have appreciated that, I don't know necessarily. I think the audience weren't of a certain graph that might not have appreciated that so much.
Different crowd. Yeah,
it was. It was an interesting crowd. I would be on side with I watched some of Slipknot. And I didn't. It's Kiss on steroids. It's Kiss on steroids, basically. That's how I saw it. I saw it as a show on steroids. I saw the beating of the kegs
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're. I don't even know if they're mic'd. I'm not sure if they're mic'd up or not because I'm like, I don't know if it's just
not.
like
It'd be better if
pre-recorded.
they weren't.
Yeah, it was
They
just
probably have an internal mic, I think. Yeah.
And this guy's on a mixing console, like scratch screen. You can't fucking hear him. What the fuck? The point of that? I don't get it. But so I was just.
Okay, live might actually be better because I've been saying for ages that the fucking turntable shit and the kegs and the percussion unnecessary.
Exactly.
Those three wankers should fuck off. So if you can't hear them live, they're probably a much better band live.
Well, you could hear it live, but the question is, was it actually them playing
necessary
them live? Where they were mic'd up, I don't know. And that was my thing with it. I was a bit like, this is more show. It's more of a show than an actual musicianship. It's definitely a show over of the band. Now the question is, if they didn't have all of this and they didn't have the masks, the costumes, and all of the big beating on kegs and all that stuff, would they be successful?
I think they would.
Songwriting alone. And
I think they would. They started
6 out of the 9 people in the band are good, so they'd be a decent band. They just have all the unnecessary crap over it.
Yeah, but they captured when they came through. They captured the feeling of a generation, which was very clever.
Yeah, right band at the right time.
Yeah, and I think they would, regardless of all the stuff. The music alone was enough to speak to people. It was then the image pushed them over the top and put them to different heights. But when the debut album came out, they were big. Like I went to a signing.
Maybe I'm a little bit older. Maybe I'm a little bit older, and it doesn't connect. Obviously, it doesn't connect with me as much.
I liked the first album, and then I saw them live and sort of got off of them, but it didn't really do much for me. And then I stayed off for a while. Then I got into them again as we did a little special on them a year or so ago now, and then we did. We did the last album as well, which impressed Jeff and everyone else too. So the last album is a real mature sound. The way they've matured over the last couple of albums in particular has really grabbed my attention again and made me go back through and appreciate their stuff a lot more. But yeah, I just think they have the chops to go. I know we bang on about the kegs and the scratching and stuff, and people don't like it, but generally speaking, the songwriting itself and the attitude displayed, what they capture in an intense vibe, the way they've played and done videos of things in the old houses, they got the youth on their side. And if you get the youth on your side, we've seen it before from Kiss and on, if you get the youth on your side, you're going to go pretty well. And they tapped into that market.
True.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
What was frustrating about their most recent album, because I gave the most recent album an 8. I bailed on the Slipknot special because I wasn't the right person to do it because I'm not a fan. Listening to the new album, it was frustrating because there is a good band there, but those 3 members just put unnecessary shit over the songs. So you can hear the good stuff, and you just don't need that extra crap. But because they've been around for so long, that's what people expect from the band.
I have to admit, I don't own a single record, but I found myself knowing the lyrics to some of their songs, and I was singing along to some of their songs at the show.
That tells something there.
Yeah. So I have to give them that. But as far as getting back to Megadeth, as far as them as a performance goes, and certainly musicianship-wise, they, I think, outshined everybody else on the festival with ease. I mean,
that's
that was,
cool.
They made it. And Dirk and Kiko are just ridiculous. They're just taking the band like on another height. People go on about the Rust in Peace lineup. I've seen them with the Rust in Peace lineup. I've seen them like 30 times now. I've seen them every lineup, Rust in Peace and onwards, and they've all been stunning. They've all been brilliant. And if I was to separate one from another lineup, I'd struggle, and I'd say that this lineup is probably quite possibly the best lineup yet.
Well, that dovetails nicely into the next section of this conversation, because original Tim, asked behind the scenes in the chat for the show crew that he just asked, is this Megadeth lineup the best that there's ever been?
Quite possibly could be.
Wow.
Just as good as Marty Friedman, if not better. Wow. This drummer is quite possibly the strongest drummer that they've had. And he's you can tell he's enjoying himself. You can tell he's really into it. He's passionate, and James Lomenzo brings another energy to it as well. And James Lomenzo is a really good singer. He's a great singer. And I noticed this at the show. There was a bit of this kind of, I was watching the show back the other night on somebody had recorded the Melbourne show, the side show, and I watched it back the other night, and there's kind of that Jerry Cantrell, Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell, Lane Staley thing going on.
Yep.
They're starting to do a bit of that in the songs. They started to do a bit of that, bit of the trading of the vocals in the songs, and which was great to see because he's a really good singer. And it was like, this is good to see Mustaine having the confidence in him to go, look, I'll let you sing along as well and carry some of the parts as well. And you know, that Dave would shut up and not sing, and he was singing some of the Dave vocal parts, and so not just the choruses either, like some of the verse lines. So it was great to see that, and I hope that gets utilized on the next record. I hope they really utilize him as a singer as well on the next record. You know,
cool,
because that would be great to see. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's some comments coming through. I'll get to those in a second. But basically, the hot topic was, you know, is this the best lineup? And if it is, cool. But if it's not, then what do you think is the best lineup? Jeff, where would you land on this one? What do you think is the best Megadeth lineup?
Well, I mean, obviously, I've never seen. I don't have the experience of what Conrad having seen 30 fucking times. Jesus Christ! I don't think fucking some of those road crew have seen the band 30 times, let alone what that's insane. But I don't have any contrast other than, you know, like seeing them live on TV or, you know, videos or whatever from the previous and the album. Obviously, I have a soft spot for the Marty Friedman, Nick Menza era. I do. That's just me. But I think technically, there's no question that this version of Megadeth, this band that they've got, could be technically better. Yeah, they could be. They could be. It's debatable. Okay. I have my favorite, but I certainly can't argue with what Conrad said. It's probably spot on, to be honest. Yeah.
What about you, Dave? Any thoughts?
You got to understand, he landed on.
Sorry, go on, Conrad.
Sorry, you got to understand that he landed on his feet from day one. Like, he landed after the Metallica thing. He lands on his feet with two incredible jazz musicians, like phenomenal jazz musicians. He gets a brilliant jazz guitarist and a brilliant jazz drummer, and teaches them thrash metal. And you know, they were listening to like John McLaughlin, Mahu Vishnu orchestra stuff, so like prog fusion jazz stuff. And so he's got these guys, and he's utilized them from day one. Now that's just raised the bar immediately. So from that standard from day one, it's like everybody that comes in after that has got to be really fucking good. You know? In the first two records, you've got incredible guitar, you know, incredible musicians on the first two records, and then you know, from then on in, the bar's raised very, very high. So you know, but I will say that these guys are just as good, if not the best, if not best yet, possibly.
Musically, the low point, I think, Metallica or Megadeth was the So Far So Good So What era. You know, Jeff Young and whatever.
Well, he was a great player. Jeff Young's a good player. He is. He's not a bad player.
But I think musically, I don't think it.
Teacher. He was a guitar teacher, so he was a very good player, but he just didn't have the right attitude for the band. And
no,
a bit of an art.
No. Well, we all know why he left that band, don't you? Know, but he got blamed for having sexual liaisons within the band.
Tried. I think he tried.
Well, it was enough for Dave to just say, "I don't care whether you did or didn't. You're out."
Yeah, well, I mean, not only that. I know he was jealous. He was very jealous of Dave and Lee and Doro. Dave and Doro had I won't say had a scene together, but I know Doro was rather keen on Dave. She was quite keen on Dave for a while, and Jeff Young was very jealous of that.
Right.
So,
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows? Water on the bridge now.
It'll all come out in an autobiography in a few years from now. I'm sure it'll all be in there somewhere. I'm quietly confident that Dave will do a tell-all at some point. But speaking of Dave, let's go to you. Any thoughts on the lineup?
Yeah, I've never had a chance to see this band live, and fucking spewing I missed it this year, but such is life. But as far as the new lineup go, they probably are the most technically proficient lineup they've ever had. But to me, there's more than just being a technically proficient musician. You have to have some chemistry and personality. So I can't go past the Rust in Peace lineup of Mustaine, Ellison, Friedman, and Menza. I think they had great chemistry. I think they look like a band, and they gave us Rust in Peace, Countdown to Extinction, and Euthanasia. Fuck Risk, because that was a shit album. It's one of the worst fucking albums ever done. But apart from that, three great
and
albums.
You can blame Friedman for that.
Yeah,
blame Friedman.
Yeah, that's no good album. Yeah, the last album last year was good. There was great playing on it, but it's just not at the level of those iconic albums. I think that was a band effort for those 3 albums. So, they might have better players now, but as a band collectively, that lineup was just out fucking standing. So it's probably a pretty cliched and boring answer, but yeah, that lineup was amazing.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be the old school one as well, and that's only based on because I'm also haven't seen. It's the only one of the big 4 I haven't seen live yet. Just one of those bands I haven't been able to make line up time and money wise, but just going on like on studio work on that progression of things. Kiko played his ass off on the work he's done so far with the band. I really like what Kiko brings to the band. I think he does a fantastic job. But I just think, that traditional old school lineup of, Mustaine, Ellison, Friedman, and Menza, it produced some stunningly good albums that have stood the test of time. I think that it's just in terms of this conversation, it's really interesting to have this conversation so soon after this lineup has come together. So it's really interesting that it's even come about this quickly. And I'm actually really wanting to hear an album where these 4 guys get together and collaborate and do something, because it could be, just because the hope is there, if it could be a fucking monster, and that it could be like almost the Judas Priest Firepower moment kind of a thing for Megadeth if the stars line up and this lineup can do something special, just because the conversation is so hyped already. There's so much heat in this conversation. I just think it's really interesting if they can put it together in the studio and release a stunningly good album, then that would make the debate even more rich, if that makes sense. I think for now, I think the body of work cements, or the legacy cements for me, that lineup, but the talent in the band now is up there. So I just want to hear some studio work just to compare it to and see what they come up with creatively. And I know that, that there's a lot of years between the albums, but that doesn't change much because we had the same thing with Firepower, and that came out a couple of years ago. There was a lot of years, but it went right
5
back
years ago.
Well,
Firepower was 2018.
Yeah, I know. That's nuts. Nuts to think about.
I know that they've already written about half of the new records. Pretty like there's another record, and it's pretty much halfway written already. And I think they're really collaborating a lot more together. I get the impression they are actually writing together a lot more. Like he let Dirk and Kiko write a lot more stuff and submit a lot more stuff. So he'll utilize. No doubt he's going to utilize James Lomenzo. Because I mean, this guy played with not only White Lion and David Lee Roth,
talented as all fuck.
John Fogerty, Zach Wilde. He's on Pride and Glory, so he's played with a lot of really good people. So he's going to utilize them, and as I said, vocally, he was using him. So I really hope that the next record he's going to have everybody writing, and like you say, it'll be more of a band. Effort.
That's what I'm hoping for.
So.
Yeah, I think so.
The next
and I think we can all agree on that too. I think that we can all sit there and go hope for that. That'd be the ideal outcome overall.
Yeah, the next album is going to be called "The Sick, the Dying, So What."
You can imagine lyrical content in that one as well. Let's go to some comments quickly here. So, sorry, go on.
So you got players of that caliber. It's silly not to utilize them. As much as the other the guitarist previously, what was his? Chris Broderick was technically the guy was phenomenal, but he had no feel. Yeah. Whereas Kiko is technically brilliant and has feel.
Yeah.
And he also understands music theory. He understands music theory, so he knows where things go and why they go in a certain way. And composition, he understands composition. So the guy is very trained in that respect. So it will be. I'm hoping it'll be a brilliant record. The next one will be off the scale. One hopes.
I was going to say Chris Broderick. Isn't he in Flames now?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
He's in Flames
It's-
now, yeah.
I think he is.
Yep.
He was the latest member to In Flames, which was weird because
He's opening for
was
his
in-
old band.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Stranger things have happened, though, I guess.
Yeah.
Let me fly through some comments here. So, David says Ludwig bass pedal squeak. This is going back a bit.
It's not the rat on the wheel.
Oh,
right.
right.
There we go.
Oh.
Cool. Thank you for reminding me of that. Guy Incognito, which is Philo. He's gone, just change my name. It works. So there we go. Good to see you, Phil. Benjamin says, I was interested in seeing Marty play at Budokan. That was sick. Okay, cool. Nice. It was good to see Marty join the band for a bit there. But he also says, I hope he can rejoin or at least do some more shows in the future. I like when bands can pull it off and do it well, getting the whole nostalgia trip in. It's always a good thing as well. He also added, I heard that the Pit and Not Fest was a WWE Royal Rumble. I wouldn't know. I wasn't there. Can't speak. Yeah. Conrad's nodding, so it looks like it was pretty full on, which is never a bad thing. It's
it was
fun.
Brutal.
Yeah.
It was fucking brutal.
Cool. Yeah.
It was actually dangerous.
It
was dangerous.
Yeah.
It was.
Some can be, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Some can definitely be.
And people just had no mosh etiquette. There are a lot of people there with no mosh etiquette at all. Yeah. They were just, as I said, there's some real fucktards there. They didn't have a clue what they were doing. No.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
And rules for everyone. Which is a problem. It's all good. What do we got there? We got that one. So Vinny says, well behind enemy lines there, Thor, when it comes to being in New South Wales now. So that's up there for you to discuss. Ben says, I do rate Chris Poland. He is good. I just don't know if he was quite the right fit. Darren says, Rust in Peace era, this is a good conversation to have. Rowan says the best Megadeth lineup would probably be Mustaine, Hammett, Trujillo, and Ulrich.
No. Where's Cliff, dude? Come on.
You gotta have Cliff in there somewhere. Gotta have Cliff in there. Vinny says, do you think the strength of the songs on any particular album dictates how we rate any given lineup? The Rust in Peace period for me was the pinnacle. I think it does. I think definitely does, because not only the live shows kind of thing, but the albums stay with you, and so the ones you gravitate towards, the ones that impress you the most, they're going to give you that emotive anchor point to a particular lineup. So I think that the albums definitely, the strength of the songs definitely impacts how much you love a particular lineup. What do you guys think of that? I think that's how it works for me anyway.
Yeah, I reckon it goes to the albums more than.
You have to understand that those guys really didn't contribute all that much, particularly. It was mainly him that did most of the songwriting, even on Rust in Peace. I mean, he was writing that prior to the guys Friedman and Menza joining the band. So,
Now, just as a quick side note, on the 30th anniversary of Metallica, you had Kurt Hammett and Dave Mustaine on stage trading solos. That was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that? Oh, at the 30th anniversary thing.
Yeah. In their Metallica's 30th anniversary show, they had Mustaine up there, the Bantam Lord, and Kirk Hammett and Dave Mustaine on stage together.
Yeah,
that was cool.
The cat killer.
Ooh, yeah,
there's Nicole's raised an interesting point here. What might have pissed Nicole's added, aren't two ex-Megadeth members touring Australia soon? Maybe that's what pissed Mustaine off. That announcement was made as the band were touring here. So Ellefson and I forget the other one.
I can't see
the
that.
wanker and the other guy.
Why would
I can't
you care?
see that being the thing, really. I really can't think that wouldn't particularly be the. I think something happened backstage and something happened maybe at home.
Yeah.
In his family, who knows?
Yeah,
something it could have been anything. We don't know, but obviously something serious. I think something relatively serious must have happened.
Metallica won't reply to his fucking outburst in interviews. He's trying to bait them, and they're not saying a thing. Fucking Lars, not responding to my insult.
The less we say about that, the better. Because I brought up the term disposable journalism last week, and I think that's what driving a lot of this stuff.
The thing
there's a lot of fucking bands getting into it at the moment.
You'll find that those stories were like 6 months. Those stories were like 6 months old, if not older, and it's just being reprint. They just reprint it, like they just re-headline it. It's the same stories. And
the fucking Nikki Sixx one happening now with Carmen.
Carmen Appice,
Yeah. Hey, really, and Paul Stanley are at it again. Like,
that's a new one. It's just like, really? Do we need to do this? I don't know. It's either really immature douchebaggery or they're working it like a WWE heel turn kind of thing, and then and either way, it's sitting there going, just fuck off. Like, I don't really have time for it, to be honest. I don't click any of those articles.
I think it's most of the websites that are
they're driving it. Yeah.
And key points in an interview that they can drive a headline with.
These websites have turned into the TMZ of rock and metal. You know, it's disgusting. It's just appalling.
It's clickbait.
They'll just stoop to some pretty low levels to get people
they make money
to click on it. To click on it, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it comes down to, which is the unfortunate part of where we're at the moment.
Yeah.
But we'll see if it changes for the better anytime soon. Andrew has also jumped in, said I heard Marty Friedman's guest appearance in Japan went down well. I've heard a lot of good things about it, which is great.
I watched it.
Okay.
I did too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good. Killer.
Cool.
Really good.
Adrian's jumped in to say Chewy. So there we go.
It might happen in Wacken because Marty Friedman's playing Wacken as well. There's no this year, so there's talk of it happening in Wacken as well. Yeah,
cool. That would be cool.
That's a great dates line up.
Yeah, and because Varken's always filmed, you'll get some great footage out of it too, which would be fantastic to see that captured in complete form, which is great. Vinny's jumped in. He's gone, doesn't take much to tick Mustaine off. One strand of ginger hair in his eyes and everyone in the air raid shelters. Well done. Yeah, and also Benjamin jumped in saying Mick Mars versus the Crew. That's an interesting song. Yeah. That's the Carmen Appice thing there. It's a bit of a strange one. But people are doing these things. It's all a bit of a wild ride at the moment.
Are you moving? Oh wow.
I'm moving. My mother's kicking me out of her bedroom.
Heaven forbid she wants to go to sleep.
This is a little awkward. There's a woman in the back throwing me out of the bedroom.
Oh no!
First time for everything.
That woman walking around the background, people. My mother is kicking me out of her bedroom.
That's all good. I'm sure it's done with a lot of love. Now, I don't know if you've been able to keep up with us, Conrad. We'll keep you here for a few minutes more. Just quickly, but we've been doing this thing where we've been building our own private supergroup out of the big four of thrash. So, Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth. We've been building our own little private supergroup, and it's been by our draft rules. So far, what have we got here? So we've done drums and bass so far. We're doing rhythm guitar tonight. But while you're here, we'll just get you to do your top five. So you'll pick a drummer, a bass player, rhythm, lead, and vocals. And just let us know who your top five are from this one. But as a precursor, just so you know who's picked what so far from our side of things. For drums, I picked Dave Lombardo. Dave had Charlie Benanti, and Jeff had Nick Menza. For bass, it was a Metallica fest. Dave chose Jason Newsted. I chose Rob Trujillo, and Jeff chose Cliff Burton. We're going to do rhythm in a second. But just quickly, what do you think? If you could pick, the way we have our rule set up here is that we have to represent 3 out of the 4 bands. But just you get to pick whoever you want now, just to fill this out. So, who would you put out of 5 members into your ultimate thrash Big 4 supergroup?
I'd go with Hetfield on rhythm.
Yep.
Mustaine on lead. Trujillo on bass, and that Megadeth drummer, the new Megadeth drummer, being Dirk on drums.
Dirk. Yep. Cool.
And vocals, and who would sing? Who would sing? Now that's an interesting one. I'd say trade between Mustaine and Hetfield. Trade vocals. Nice,
cool. That's a pretty good lineup. I think anyone would be happy to see that lineup, which would be good there too. Benjamin's saying, "Hey, Conrad's mum and dad." So they're getting some love there for the parents there, which is awesome. but Vinny's gone, Mrs. Thor with a wooden spoon. So.
Kicking me out of my room. Just booted me out of my room.
All right, let's do this. So we'll keep Conrad here for this before we get stuck in the reviews, just so we get Conrad's reaction to our lineup as it moves forward. So like I was saying before, previously on drums, I've chosen Dave Lombardo, Dave chose Charlie Benanti, and Jeff chose Nick Menza. On bass, Dave chose Jason Newsted, I chose Rob Trujillo, and Jeff chose Cliff Burton. So today we're going to do rhythm guitarist, but just for a quick update on the point side of things, because once we do these ones, we then go to the audience to go and get their top 5. The most popular one is worth 50 points. The 5th most popular one is worth 10 points, and in between it gets all ranked out. So as a total on the points, the audience choice top 5 for, just to refresh on drums, was Lombardo number 1, Benanti number 2, Menza number 3, Ulrich number 4, and equal 5th was Bostaff and Adler. For the bass, it was a different result. There was a clear and really clear win on this one with Cliff Burton flying away in front there. So, Jeff, you got the points on that one. Rob Trujillo came in 2nd, along with Frankie Bello. And then there was an equal 3rd place as well with Newstead Ellison, and Tom Araya got a nod in there as well.
Nice.
So there's some interesting lineups there. So our total on points thus far. Dave has fallen behind. He's now on a total of 70 points. So you're a slight... It's only a small margin, so don't worry. Jeff, you've jumped into 2nd place on 80 points. I've managed to keep myself ahead at the moment with 90 points at the moment on the total for me. So we are, but it's still very, very close. I know that there's like 20 points between 1st and 3rd.
Anybody's race.
This is a long, long way from being done. All right. So with that said, let's go to, I've pulled it up here. I've got the randomizer all set up, ready to go. So I haven't got a name here. So you're all going to see this go in real time. So we can,
okay.
I know that the rhythm guitar, it'll be, I want to know who's going to go first, because I think I all know who we're going to pick first. So time to see who gets to go first. And if I can get it to work, there we go. That's the notification saying all the things have been done. So now next up is, oh God, backwards. Dave.
Fuck yes! James Hetfield, motherfucker.
Knew it.
Yep.
Anybody can play fast with alternative picking. James Hetfield down picks like a madman. So yeah, he's in my rhythm band. Fucking yes.
I think that there's going to be a clear winner from the audience out of this poll as well, and so I think Dave might take the lead for next week.
He's played over the years, and live versions of the album tracks are even faster. The guy is inhuman. Down picking.
Alrighty. It is a good pick. It would have been my pick first if I figured everyone was going to take Hetfield first if they could. All right, next up. Who gets to go second? Jeff gets to go second. Who are you taking?
So the rules where you can't, how many people can you pick from the same band?
You can pick whatever you want so long as you have 3 bands represented at the end.
Oh, okay. So I've got Megadeth and Metallica.
Yep.
And how many rounds are there?
There's 5.
5 rounds. Okay, so I could potentially. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with fucking Mustaine because that's what he is now. He's a rhythm guitar player.
Nice. Yep. Cool. All right.
Guess who's up next? You don't need to do the phone this time.
Oh, I don't need to do the phone thing now because we all know who's up next. So I'm actually kind of happy because I'm going to get my second pick, which actually allows me to round out into 3 bands rather nicely. So it's not a bad, it's a quote unquote consolation, but I'm actually really happy with this consolation because it gives me a lot more freedom on my next 2 choices. So I'm actually going to take Scott Ian from Anthrax.
Yep.
Excellent. He was my second choice.
I was going to take him, and I was.
Yeah. Good pick. That's very good pick.
I'm taking for my rhythm guitarist because I think that if I can't have Hetfield, I'm going to have him.
He's so good. Very good.
He's underrated, man. Nobody
you could
talks
argue
about
that
him.
he's the lifeblood of that band.
Yeah. So I'm really stoked to have, like I said, that gives me flexibility in the next 2 rounds because you have to think ahead about, you have to represent 3 bands out of the 4. So you got to get some flexibility in there. So that gives me that flexibility now. With the next 2 picks, I've got room to move. So that gives me some nice choices there. So that's what we've got picked up out of it all so far, which is cool. So just to refresh, Dave obviously took the clear choice, which was James Hetfield, which I think will make the scoring much more interesting next week around. Jeff took Dave Mustaine. I got Scott Ian. That's going to be tallied up. There'll be a video coming in the next few days asking for the audience to get their votes in on that one. That'll determine how the points are scored out. So this is a bit of fun. We get our picks in first, so we're not influenced by the audience and so on and so forth. So it's a good little way to do things, and we'll have some fun with it. But yeah, let us know in the comments. We'll do a post later on, but if you feel like it, let us know in the comments who you would have picked for rhythm guitar if you could do so. Speaking of that, we've got some comments here as well. Vinny says Black Sheep is worth 1,000 points. Don't worry, Dave.
Man,
But here we go. So Darren says Hetfield for me. Same with Sally, said Hetfield. Ernie, good to see you. He's gone, if you can't have Hetfield, 100% Scott Ian. So I'm pretty happy with that. Philo's going for rhythm, Hetfield for sure, but Benjamin's going to rap Mal Young for rhythm here, so there we go. And Mikey's going Rush. We'll get to Rush soon enough. Don't worry about that. All right. Just quickly, Conrad, before we let you go, we've been doing the King of the Riff Blame Canada series. I don't know if you're familiar with these albums. I hope you are, but if not, it's a bit of fun. Random question for you. If you're picking between Annihilator, Alice in Hell, or Rush Moving Pictures, which album are you picking out of those two? If you have to pick one.
That's a tough one. That's really hard because I remember when Alice in Hell first came out, and I was at school, and it had such an impact. It was so good, and for a debut album, man, that was phenomenal. So I guess it really comes down to shit. You still there? Am I still here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
It was such a cliffhanger. You cut right out.
There. Sorry, it's
like what? No, tune in next week for more Conrad.
He's chopped up again too now, which is even better.
He's pointing at you, Dave. He's going.
Yeah,
you better pick Rush tonight. You better pick Rush.
Oh, your fault.
You're like fucking Lemmy. All right.
Well, quickly, while we see if we can get him back, we've got some comments through here. No, he's dropped out. So, Andrew says Scott Ian for me. Mikey says, okay, Paul Stanley. I was saying Scott Ian. But Benjamin always says, I always like the blues. So that's why Mal. Nice. Mal's also said, thanks, Conrad. Nothing says metal like interneting from Mum's basement, which is cool. We got him back, though. We've got him back. Here he is. Hey. All right, here we go. We got him back.
Sorry, very hard, very difficult question to answer because I love Rush and Moving Pictures, I believe the album was. They're both landmark records. Wow, this is tough. And I love Rush is one of my favorite bands too. So probably going to lean with Rush because I guess I don't hold Annihilator up in the same level as I would Rush. But in saying that, Alice in Hell is a cracking record.
Yeah,
fantastic. So this is a really tough one.
It is.
I think Rush only just gets it, but that's probably because they've got a bigger legacy. They're a bigger band and a bigger legacy, and mind you, Annihilator have put out a shit ton of records now.
Yeah, they have.
I've seen Annihilator quite a few times, and they're always stunning live. They're always incredible live. So but Rush will take this one.
Nice. Well, just for what it's worth there, that was the number 1 seed is Rush, number 3 seed is Alice in Hell. So these are the most popular audience choices under the theme of Canada. So number 1, number 3 got to the finale in the end. So I don't think anyone's going wrong with listening to either of these albums, but it was just good to get your little thoughts there on that one. Quick little Finney's gone. His mum cut off the internet. You're going to get all the jokes, mate. You're going to get all the jokes. But is there anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Oh, check out. I just saw it before this show came on. Check out the new Extreme track.
Oh, yeah. The
new Extreme song. Nuno is just pulling out this solo he's done is like something. It's just off the scale. It's ridiculous. It's modern, very modern sounding, but yet at the same time, he's doing this Eddie Van Halen type thing, but he's also doing it in a modern way, and it's got this modern sound to it. But he's just basically come along and said, like, remember us? Like, we're not going anywhere. Have this.
And the song's set up for it, too. The song sets it up.
And it floors you. It just knocks you in the ass, and you go, whoa, this guy is just shredding, like, badass, really good. So,
all right.
Worth checking out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us once again, Conrad. It's always good to have you on. We're going to be doing our next King of the Riff series will be to do with concept albums. So we're going to get you much more involved for that one in the near future as well. Looking forward to that.
Cool. And I thought of another thing maybe to do. You mentioned movies earlier on. We could do maybe a special on rock and roll movies, like rock and roll heavy metal movies. Themes.
I can find really obscure horror.
Kiss Meets the Phantom. Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Pretty cool VHS.
Oh my God, here we go. Dave's going to go full
by fucking shit band, shit country town, and then they get resurrected by playing the song backwards, and they come back and they kill the bad people. It's great.
That sounds like Trick or Treat.
That's fucking great.
What a film, man. I saw that in 86.
For those who don't know, Dave studied film, which is why he gets so nerdy.
Oh, okay.
Film nerd. I love
Yeah,
horror.
big
He
film nerd.
studied under Baz Luhrmann, wasn't it?
Right.
No! It's a fucking disgrace to Australia.
Musicals.
Jesus Christ.
Musicals.
Oh, good call, Jeff. Good call.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
All right,
Yes.
we're going to move on. But no, thank you again, Conrad. It has been an absolute blast. Good to
Cheers.
see
See you, buddy.
Well,
No
and
worries.
Cheers, man.
Awesome.
move going
Good
forward
seeing
as
you
well.
again, Bell.
We'll see you again soon.
Yep.
No,
Cheers.
we'll catch up soon. Take it easy till then.
We'll
All
do.
the best.
Bye-bye.
Awesome, man. See ya. All right, let's quickly scroll.
I'm getting
through
a drink
some more.
because Rush is coming up.
Okay, I know you
Oh
need
yeah,
it.
you need it.
Darren says, I'm tapping out. Have a good one. It's Annihilator. And Nicole says, good night, Darren. Hopefully you get some rest in there, Darren. You can catch up on the rest later on. And Vinny has gone, great to see you, Conrad. So there we go. Some more love there. All right, so let's set this up while Dave goes and gets his drink. We've gone through, I think this is week 9 of this one now. It is the finale, which is good because it's right before the Easter break. So this is the number 1 seed, which was Rush Moving Pictures versus the number 3 seed, Annihilator, Alice in Hell. So number 1 and number 3 made it to the end. If you're looking for it, there is a link to each band, a song to check out in the comments and the description box as well. So you can go and check out some tunes there, just in case you're not familiar with either of these two. But I believe most people are by now. We have been covering these bands for the last little bit. It's time to wrap this one up. So far, it's been really interesting because just to quickly recap, we had a lot of bands come and go through this process, and some bands got a bit further than I honestly expected. Like one of the weirdest battles we had was Bryan Adams versus Voivod. That was just that was
bizarre. But
just for people's context, for those that are catching up, because I had some interesting comments on some of the short videos online too. It's like, why are you comparing these albums? It's because we polled the audience, got the top 10 most popular Canadian bands, and then just sort of set them out in seeding order by popularity. And then it's just how it drew out. So, number 1 seed versus number 4 and so on and so forth, and just sort of cracks on from there. It's a lot of fun to do these ones. Really do enjoy it, to be honest. It's something we started last year with the 50-year-old albums, and we just sort of kept going with the theme, and it's been a lot of fun to get to this point now. We've gotten through the second round. Like I said, the next series is going to be all to do with concept albums, so to keep your eyes peeled for the posts where we poll the audience to get them involved in determining the top 10, and then we go through the seeding and popularity.
That will be epic.
That will be. There's going to be
I'm really looking forward to that. This series, this Blame Canada. I mean, you loved it. You wanted it so bad that you got in touch with me in Canada. I flew in, and here I am. So yeah, live. Like a
live in the flesh. Yeah. So we've done very well, and this is why we got Jeff in on this one, because what better way to do it? And now we've tied it into a TV episode coming up on Saturday night as well. So it's all coming to a very fitting conclusion now as Dave has come back at last. And so we're going to do things a bit differently this time around because I have a funny feeling about the order of this. So I want Jeff to go last on this one. I know that I normally go last, but I want Jeff to go last because I have a funny feeling about Dave and myself. We haven't spoken about this beforehand, just so you know. This is just me doing an editorial choice because I have a funny feeling about things because I know the people involved. But let's go to it. Dave, you got your drink. Now, this is going to be a choice between Rush or Annihilator for the kingdom and the glory. So which one are you going with?
There's been some great albums in the last few weeks, and it's probably come down to arguably the best of the bunch. Both are legendary bands. Rush, probably more well-known of the two. But fuck, I've only heard Alice in Hell when we did this, and I fucking love this album. I got to go through the rest of Annihilator's catalog because I knew of the band for so long, but it's just become a new favorite. I can't stop listening to it. It's so good.
Oh, cool.
But then Moving Pictures has been such an inspiration for aspiring musicians who want to take what they do to the next level. If you want to push yourself to be a good musician, learn from the greats. And there's no denying that Moving Pictures is a great album. Ultimately, this is going to come down to taste. And, to be honest, the winner would be Rush if the vocals weren't horrible for me. Everything else on that album is fantastic. That's just my personal taste.
Yeah.
Annihilator, complete package. Everything on that is fucking fantastic. Great riffs, great performances. But arguably, Rush is the better players of the two. The different styles. So you got prog against thrash.
Yeah.
Both have their own merits. Both are fantastic performers and players. But Rush inspired Dream Theater, and we wouldn't have Dream Theater if it wasn't for Rush. So probably going to have to go with Rush.
Wow.
But I'm not. I'm not, because Annihilator's fucking better. Go with Annihilator. Fuck
You
that.
almost got me. You got me almost.
This
You did get me. You got
this
me.
is Dave's sting moment where he rips out the shirt and has the white NWO, then rips that again and goes to the red NWO. That's Dave's fucking.
But yeah, personal preference wins Annihilator.
Yeah.
But credit where it's due, Russia were a fucking legendary band. And they inspired so many great bands. So if it wasn't for those vocals, they'd probably be one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that's why it irks me. They're fucking great.
Yeah. No, that's cool though. I actually like the way you summed it up, and you did a very good, nice bait and switch there too. But
That was good, Dave.
that was very good.
You had
Almost
me.
had you.
It had me going.
Oh,
I was like,
you
fuck
did
off.
have me.
Yeah. But no, well done on the delivery. No, look, and you'd be hard pressed to go wrong with either of these albums. Now, I know the audience questioning on these ones has been really, really interesting to watch this play out in the terms of the commentary to see what people have said, and it's been pretty evenly split, to be honest. So I think it's safe to say we're in a position where no matter which one goes through, it's going to be a deserving winner either way. I haven't listened to heaps of Annihilator. I've listened to some, and we did the Rush special all those years ago too. But the Annihilator album is just a stunning piece of work. Now, it's phenomenal. And the thing is about the if this has been like the first round of these ones, it'd have been a slam dunk to Rush. And absolutely, it just would have been because I know that album so much better. Having had the time because it's gotten through the rounds where I've listened to it several times now, probably a good half dozen to a dozen times I've listened to Alice in Hell. And every time you listen to it, it gets better. It's one of those remarkable albums where the more time you spend with it, the more it grows on you. Not that it grabs you from the start, don't get me wrong, but that first listen makes you want to go back for more. And because you go back for more, you pick up on more things. And the way that's put together, the signings of it, the flow of it, the songwriting performances, all that stuff, it's such a fucking good album. The Alice in Hell, and then the songs themselves, it's just such a fucking phenomenal piece of work. Like, it really, really is. And it's as far as, I want to do a thing where we've done the big four of thrash, and we'll do that at some point, but I want to do like the next best of the big four of thrash and just see what the audience poll comes out in that regard. And I reckon Annihilator have a fair chance of being in that second bracket of a big four kind of a thing. I reckon that would be interesting to do at some point. I'm not sure when we'll do it, but that's just an idea that's been rattling around in my head for some time now to do something like that. But yeah, if there was a second big four like these guys, I think would be certainly in contention. And I think that it's funny because Jeff's mentioned before when he's done this stuff that the legacy of them on their debut album is pretty fucking impressive as well. And they did change directions of things quite a bit. That said, you flip over to Rush, and those songs for me are fucking timeless. And it's one of those albums where, like, I listened to them today, and I listened to Alice in Hell first and then put on Rush. And the other weeks I've done it sort of the other way around, where I put Rush on first, whatever else. And it's just sort of one of those things where it doesn't matter which way you play it or which way you spin it or whatever else have you. The way that the Rush album flows, breathes, and stays with me as a listen is really hard to go past. And it's one of those ones where I like the vocal tone. I think it suits the songs nicely. And there's this quality about it where no matter what mood you're in, no matter what sort of a week you're having, it's one of those ones that makes you feel good about the world when you're listening to that music, just because it's such a wonderful piece of art to take in. And that's the beauty of art in whatever film you take it with, literature or visual or music. It's how it makes you feel. And if it brings you light or makes you feel better, or if it's a cathartic thing. Like if I was having a really shit week, Alice in Hell would probably be a better contender because I'd be wanting to vent. But where I'm in a relatively stable place, Rush is the one that speaks to me because it just makes you feel good. And that's what works for me, and it's different for every individual out there as well. And so I can't. It's hard to pick. It actually, like I said, if it had been like in first week, it would have been okay, cool. I'm going to go with Rush. But as that album's growing more and more, it's really, really hard to pick between the two. They're both very different albums, very different styles, but they're both so incredible to listen to. And I've not gotten tired of it. If anything, I liked Rush after the special, and that album in particular is a fucking phenomenal listen and always has been. But Annihilator is something that I've come to really appreciate as part of this process, which is the joy of doing these ones where you find new things and have some fun. But for me, I'm going to go with Rush by the slimmest of margins. It's not by a lot at all. It's really by a sliver. So yeah, just because of the way it makes me feel. When I'm listening to it, it always makes me feel good, and it's consistently done so. So I'm going to stick with the tried and true. I'm going to go with Rush. I'm going to go with the number 1 seed. It's my favorite for this one. So we'll see how we go with that one. And that sets it up. That sets the table, Jeff. You have a decision to make. So let's get into it.
All right. Coming into this, I said last week, this final was going to be gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
And it has been. It really has been. I've had a lot of time to reflect on. I don't take Rush moving pictures or Annihilator, Alice in Hell lightly. These are both powerhouse albums, which both had an effect on me. So I sat down and started put pen to paper and wrote a whole bunch of shit. But fuck that. That's gone.
All right. I love it.
I absolutely, it's no surprise if anyone knows me or has anyone watched previous shows of this where I have been on it. I absolutely love Rush. Is my favorite band of all time. And I've been a fan since, I was, I don't know, 10 years old or something. It was in the 70s. So I've been listening to Rush a long, long time, right? I'm an old man as it is now. Not really, but I feel like it sometimes, about 80 when I get out of bed. So they've resonated with me on a level that was like a frequency. It tuned into me, and this album, is just an amazing album. I'll be honest, this is not my favorite Rush album at all. My favorite album is, believe it or not, I come from the wimpy era of 87, which is Hold Your Fire, which is all keyboards and shit. But that just spoke to me on a level. But I digress. So Rush means a lot. And, so coming into this, I thought, how the fuck am I going to be choosing between an album like Annihilator's Alice in Hell, which has been also an album that I've grown up with. I mean, 89, I was about 20 or so. I was a big thrash head and stuff like that back in that time. And all of a sudden, all we knew was, like the really heavy bands were coming out of America and stuff like that. We had Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer, Testament, all these things. And then Canada's all of a sudden on the map. We're like, holy fuck, awesome. We're representing. So it made us Canadians feel really proud. And so I was just like, I first saw Annihilator. There was a station there called Much Music. And of course, being Canadian and its Canadian channel, they really promoted the shit of this. So I saw the video. And what I was taken by was the level of musicianship but also the creativity. That video is like a horror movie. It's so well done. And of course the lyrics, and it reminds me of that, with that Annabelle, the little doll
King Diamond
shit. What the movie Annabelle. So and it got into that sort of territory where it's like, holy shit, these guys get what horror movie is. They can make a video that's actually scary, really, in a lot of ways. And the little sounds that you hear in the back, the guitars building this ambiance that it's like, wow. Like it's more than just musicianship now. It's art, it's creativity. So that really had a huge effect on me. Jeff Waters as a player, I was just like, wow, this guy is like my new favorite guitar hero, And he sort of came along, and I was just like, at that time, I had just started playing guitar seriously in the late 80s. I'd been playing bits before that, but really that was when. So having him come along and, sort of taking the music in the direction of like the classical thing, but he wasn't shredding like Malmsteen. He was adding layers of classical, kind of like what the other one said Rhodes would have done. Unfortunately before he was taken. So I've really waffled, but I had no choice because both of these albums are, you know, and to have the fact that I am the deciding vote.
Yeah, that's why I set it up.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me on the trust and everything. So my buddy is here from Canada. He's staying at my place, and I told him what I was going to be doing tonight. And, you know, he was like, when I said, you know, there's a chance that I might go with Alice in Hell. And he went, "Oh, are you fucking crazy? How can you not pick Rush?" I said, "You're a fucking traitor to your country." And I said, "They're from Canada too. You know, they're both from Canada." He's like, "I don't give her." So he didn't care.
Yeah.
So after a long talk to myself internally, I decided that the impact that both these albums had on my life. This is where my internet just cuts out, right? So I love Rush, but I'm gonna give it to Annihilator.
Wow.
Yeah, that just fucking kills me to say it. I've got fucking goosebumps coming out. I think it's sickness coming in or something, because it really does gut me to say it.
Yeah.
Is that why you've been sick all week, man?
I don't. Maybe. Look,
Soul sick. Yeah.
I don't say it lightly. It's by the Rush loses out by a bee's dick. I'm telling you, it's that small. You know, I'm probably going to piss off so many people by doing that, but I think that Annihilator wins because they took what was there with all those other bands and went with it and grew a genre in Canada. Rush was already established. They were, you know, all that stuff. They had built an inbuilt audience, right, already. Yeah. So by the time Moving Pictures came along in 81, they had, you know, literally probably, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of fans around the world already to go out to buy the album. Annihilator comes along. Who the fuck are these? No one knows who they are. You know, we don't have the media like we have social media where everyone's talking about blah, 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 blah. They built on the video that they made and just word of mouth. And they became, as far as I'm concerned, they're absolute fucking legends, and they deserve everything they got, and that's why they got my vote tonight. So I'm sorry if I disappointed.
No,
believe me, this was a hard choice for me. It really was.
I get it, man.
Yeah,
Rush is just
the way that the way that Annihilator has grown on me has made it a really tough choice. Like it was actually really hard to choose between the two albums. Like it was,
Dave, you got me. You had me. I was like, holy shit, right? And then, you know, and then you went, haha, you know. And then Andrew, I thought, okay, I really honestly thought you were going to go Annihilator. I did.
Okay.
You went obviously with your gut, and you know, I know you deliberated hard. I don't think Dave. I don't think you deliberated hard. I think in the back of your mind, because you fucking hate Giddy, and that's fine. I know you love Rush.
Last year we did like a 1987 process like this.
Yeah.
I was thinking, fuck, if it comes down to Among the Living against Appetite for Destruction, I might have to turn heel and go with Among the Living, which is really fucking painful to do. So I get your pain.
Yeah.
And you know, recently me and Andrew have been going for the Aerosmith discography for like the deep cuts that we're doing.
Yeah.
Got me thinking, you know, two of my very earliest introductions to music. Got me thinking, which one would I go with? Appetite for Destruction or Pump?
Ooh. Yeah.
You know, fantastic fucking album.
Was not fucking live. I would have probably said, all right, cut that out. I'm going, I'll just redo my part. Because that's how much I love Rush. That's how much
I know. We had the whole chat at the old studio when we did Rush.
Putting another band objectively against the band that you love, it's really hard to do.
It is
when you rate an album on its merits, thinking, well, this album actually does get above that other band.
That's why I did it.
Yeah. Well, the Dave, you remember the Metallica versus Megadeth special we did years ago now, and how we did both. We did it in two parts, and Megadeth ended up winning in the end. And I actually voted for Megadeth over Metallica because the consistency of their catalog was stronger.
Correct.
And that hurt because I'm a huge Metallica fan.
Yeah.
Like that band speaks to me, and it's like, so this whole process where you got to go with objectivity over your heart. It's challenging.
It is, and when you do it, like I rate this album, I give it a score, and then you look at the entire tally of the discography, and it's like these are consistent 9, 10s. This other band's got a few 7s and 8s. You got to go with what you enjoyed going through the process.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I'm going to stand by what I say. I'm not going to back out and wimp out. Annihilator deserved to win. This album is just a strong motherfucking album. To take out Rush, wow,
it had to be good.
It had to be good. What else can I say? I've waffled on, but holy shit.
Well done.
Well done to you guys. You guys put on an amazing series, and I hope this just keeps going because I've had an absolute blast.
We've discovered a few great bands in the last few weeks. Not Brian Adams. He still fucking sucks.
But we've had some, but it's been interesting the way it's been thrown up, and because we don't determine it, it's all done by audience popularity, and then the seeding comes in. It's just so much fun to do it this way, and you never know which way it's going to turn and all that sort of stuff. We'll make one change to the rules we haven't done before, which will be the next time around. Only one album from a band, because we've had 2 from Rush. We had 2 from Deep Purple last time around. We're going to tweak it and go, okay, only one album from a band to go through. But we learned
the concept album series that we're going to do in a few weeks, that's going to be fucking painful, because I love concept albums.
Very painful. And it's going to be awesome at the same time.
Yeah. It'd be good to listen to, but putting one up against another, jeez.
These series are a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next one, like in a big way. Because again, love concept albums. But yeah, these are fun, but they're also challenging, especially when you start getting toward the pointy end of it all. Because even we did that 87 one day, like the Whitesnake album was in there, and like it was even that final round between Whitesnake and Guns N' Roses was really hard to pick at the end of the day. Like that was tough as well. So
I'm surprised Among the Living didn't make it further through, because that's a fucking great album.
I think because we didn't have any, we did it randomized, not by seeding that time around. So that was a quirkier sort of twist. I think it makes more sense to go by popularity versus randomized seeding.
I actually had the Anthrax t-shirt on underneath the Guns N' Roses t-shirt. I had it planned. I was actually going to go with Among the Living if it was among the two. I'm going to turn heel.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting. We started this one as a random idea last year. You got to give credit to Mick. Mick deserves all the credit for this idea. Originally, it was his concept.
Great idea. So much fun.
And we've grown it since then. We've expanded it and made it a bit more refined. But the original idea came from Mick, so I got to give him all the credit in the world for what he's done with that idea. But we've enjoyed the process. Hopefully, everyone out there has enjoyed it as well. We've got a couple of things to go through yet as well tonight. We're going to be out of here soon though. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying these little things. It's a good way to spend a couple of months on a theme and. It's been a blast. It takes us a few weeks to go through things, but I like the way it plays out. It's a bit of fun and gets to a conclusion like this, which is always more interesting because, we get the I don't know if it was a twist or in the tail or not, but it felt like a bit of a twist. So it was well done. I think got some. Go on.
Yeah.
Are you going to say something?
I was just going to say I know what you're saying by that. I think, you guys be honest. Did you think I was going to go that way? You probably didn't.
I knew it was.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I genuinely believed it was a coin flip because of the way you've spoken about the Annihilator album before.
Yeah,
I genuinely did believe. That's why I wanted you to go last because I thought genuinely it was a coin flip.
Well, I wanted to be 100% objective about this. Going into it, it was so easy just to pick your favorite, right? Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
But to be really objective about something that you absolutely like, Rush, like I live and breathe them, they're just my band. And stop just because they're Canadian.
The collection of Rush stuff you've got, man, it's fucking incredible.
I probably have the best.
Could you imagine if I'd actually gone with Rush and
I know
you didn't? They would have won. But not because you didn't.
I never thought of that. If you had picked Rush, if you hadn't done that bait switch thing, Rush would have won. Yeah. Well, look, the best band won.
Yeah. Hey, no, look, and the thing is that I think that it's important to realize too, and I don't know if this is the same. Like Dave and I have spoken about this before, Jeff, but when you're listening to albums with this mindset, it changes the way you listen to an album.
Yeah.
You go from being a fan to being it's a different mindset, and it does really sort of hone your listening skills, if that makes sense. I don't know if you felt the same way about it, Jeff, but it changed the way. Yeah.
I listened to both albums today.
Yep.
You know, I wanted to have them fresh in my mind, and you know, I just basically I wasn't working, I wasn't feeling the best, so I just put the headphones on, just listened, and I was like, okay, you know, that's what early on in the feed there that it went blank for me. Well, I just I wasn't feeling the best.
Yeah, no, I figured that was
all right. Yeah. So you do what you do. But yeah, this has been cathartic for me. It really has. It's been honestly, I kind of feel like I've done something wrong, but I know I've actually done something right.
Sit in the corner and think about what you've done.
Yeah. That's right. Just you're gonna have like a video feed of Jeff just standing in the corner, like the Blair Witch Project or something.
Yeah, he's about to say the Blair Witch. Yeah.
You know what? The pictures on your wall are gonna start moving.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Freaky shit.
That'd be interesting.
No, so I do like a stand beside.
I wish the pictures on my wall would start moving.
I bet you do. It's called. You could do it. It's called LSD. You could.
Yes, that is a thing.
Get that Buffy the Vampire Slayer poster back up and drop some acid.
Yeah, drop some acid.
Yeah. Having speaking from experience, when things do move in your house without anything actually visible touching it, it is kind of freaky. Been there, done that. Living in a haunted house is fun, folks. We had that discussion on a previous live stream. Go back and find it. I'm not revisiting that again. All right, let's get some comments because I'm pretty sure we got some surprises in here. So Rowan says, I listened to Annihilator album today. Great guitar, but ironically, I couldn't get past the singing. So ironically,
yeah.
There we go. Well done. But follow up with.
I know the singer sounds a bit like Freddy Krueger. I got that when I first heard the album.
He's unique.
He sounds like Freddy Krueger.
He's very unique.
He's a unique.
Yeah, he's very where they went. Like the next singer, Coben Farr. Wow, what a different voice he had.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why they decided to go.
That was weird.
Him out of the band because Randy Rampage did 2 albums, 16 years apart.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing.
Which was bizarre. But hey,
no, they do them. But yeah, either way. Good album, regardless. Rowan says concept albums is my jam. Well, you'll be happy because that's coming soon. Philo says Geddy Lee inspired Cliff Burton. So there we go. Mal says got us all with that one, Dave. So you were convincing. Philo says deep dive, which is what we're doing here. Then Vinny says, Dave's deep dive from Philo there. Vinny says that was a long run up from Dave. It was. We are experts at that here at the show. Nicole says Annihilator equals thrash, Rush equals cafe music. So I guess Annihilator is my jam. Getting some love there for it.
Yeah, but where do you get your jam? You get it from a cafe.
Well,
yeah. My jam from Woolworths. Fucking.
Yeah, I suppose.
Sonia, good to see you, Sonia. She's gone. I was going to say, what the fuck? Is that the Aldi wine, Dave? Nearly got me there. So, Dave, you did a convincing bait and switch. Well done. Conrad says, with Buckman Turner Overdrive not fragile a contender in this Canada challenge? If not, it should have been. No, it wasn't voted in by the audience, unfortunately, Conrad. It was not in it. They were in the polling, but not enough to get into the top 10, which is what we go to in the end. Nath Will over on YouTube going, hey, gents, Nath from Old Ice and Mercury. Oh, cool. Thanks for the kind words on the latest single, Shine. Appreciate it. You are more than welcome. Thank you for giving us a great song to check out there. Thanks for joining us on the stream tonight, too. Really do appreciate your company. Basher, good to see you too. He's gone, respect your choice, Jeff. I understand as I found it very difficult to separate 2 of my favorite albums in 78 being AC/DC, Power Age, and The Angels Face to Face in the Hard Rock Show anniversary album choices. Yes, that is.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it is a thing there. And Rowan also chimed in saying, amusingly, the Annihilator former members' timeline chart on Wikipedia looks like a thrash song in Ableton. For those who don't know, Ableton is a digital program for making music, and that's fucking hilarious. Well done there, Rowan. That's a good call. All right, we got a couple of things to get through before we get out of here, but it's so good to have Nath joining us from Ice and Mercury. Thank you so much for coming in, and I'm glad you caught that one tonight. Alrighty, let's get into it. Let's get into our couple of reviews. Going to start off with the Aussie band of the week. We are running a bit later tonight. We knew it'd be a longer one today. It'll be a reason for that in a second. But in the comments, in the description box, check it out. There is a link now to Temtris with their song Eternal Death Machine. We're going to go Aussie review for this week is Temtris with Chaos Divine. So make sure you check out the song. We're having a bit of a waffle here. So that's Eternal Death Machine is your reference track. The album is Chaos Divine. This is Aussie band Temtris. It's 9 tracks, 49 minutes. The 7th studio album from New South Wales band, released March 2023 independently. I don't know why it's called 2017, but anyway, via independently and via Wormhole Death Records. I believe this was self-produced. I could be wrong though, but 2 singles have been released in the title track as well as Eternal Death Machine. This album coincides with the band's 20th anniversary under this name. They did have a different name for a few years before that, but for the 20th anniversary of Temtris itself. It's also, I believe, the band's first concept album, speaking of concept albums, with the story being set in a dystopian future where freedom has been sacrificed. This is the first with new bassist Vane Danov, and we've had heaps of love for this band over the years, especially the last couple of releases in particular. So let's see if this trend keeps on going. And Dave, how did you go with this one?
This is fucking great. This starts out cool and just gets better and better. With each subsequent listen, there is more to discover and enjoy. Killer riffs, excellent lyrical content and themes. The lyrics really, really jumped out for me. I mean, there's no lyrics on Spotify, but they just all come through nice and clearly. They're presented with really powerful, clean vocals, and these lyrics have a lot of thought behind them. I am so glad they're not wasted with harsh vocals. The title track, Chaos Divine, has some great lyrics like, if I was your god, I would abandon you too.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck. Right from there, you got me. You got me. I'm just listening really, really closely to what you're saying.
Strong lyrical delivery.
Yeah. And it's just, okay, from that moment, it's just like, okay, I'm listening to these songs over and over. This is one you want to pay attention to. Very cool song, title track. Very melodic, dexterous playing. It doesn't have to shred or try to be the fastest thing ever. Everything they play fits the song, and it's very, very cool playing. There's an epic track called The Path that goes for 7 minutes. There's a nice guitar solo. Leads into a very mellow midsection, and the mellow outro is cool. There's nice clean tones with the vocals towards the end. I thought that was a very, very cool track because pretty full on at times. Great structures to the album. It starts out strong, as I said, and it shifts paces a few times. But for me, the back half of the album really takes it up to a different level. A lot of albums like falls. You put your best cards first, but a lot of albums fall flat towards the end. But after that 7 minute epic, there's a 1-2 punch of revenge and evolution of hate. And those songs are both fucking awesome. They just raise the energy of this album way up. It makes as the album finishes, you want to go back to the start and just listen to it over and over. Both of those songs could have been your opening track, but they're kind of towards the end. It's just like, holy shit, this is some serious fucking gold right here. Revenge, that song in itself has a really cool melodic solo. Once again, it's not the fastest shredding stuff, but it sounds great to listen to. Towards the end, you got Ground Zero, has a very interesting 2-minute piano outro, intro to the song. 2-minute piano. Just thinking, okay, I'm like listening to it, not looking at my phone. It's in my pocket. I've got the earbuds in at work. Like, okay, this is like a cool way to wind the album down. But no, it's kind of misleading with those 2 minutes because the remaining 4 minutes of that song, when it kicks in, it's like, cool. This is a cool way to end the album on a high. There was a lot of cool stuff to enjoy about this band. Never heard about them really before, but yeah, give this album a listen because you will not be wasting your time. I gave it 8.5 out of 10. Chaos Divine, Revenge, and Evolution of Hate. But yeah, this band fucking great. Definitely give them a listen.
Nice. All right, well, quickly before I jump into mine, Ice on Mercury, the band, have jumped into saying, thanks, guys. Keep up the road work. You're more than welcome, and thank you again for releasing a fantastic song. Thanks for jumping in and saying hi, and I'm glad you liked what we had to say there. Thanks for releasing a great song. Please, I hope you guys do more, just for the record. I'd love to see you guys do. But anyway, we'll see what happens. It's up to you guys entirely. This is a fan, would love it. All right, now, Temtris is a band that I know that Nikki in particular loves. She and I interviewed the band a little while ago when we were doing those live interviews. I think it was a live interview. and that was a lot of fun. Genevieve is a powerhouse vocalist, like, oh my goodness. But the last album a couple of years ago had an almost sort of tribal feel at the beginning of it all. This one is very slick and modern, so it's almost like you're going from the Final Frontier to the Book of Souls sort of thing in context, like you're flipping it this time around. So you're going from the tribal one to the digital one. Now that digitized sort of sonic is not overdone. It suits what they're going for really well on top of on this record. You get the 2-minute little instrumental opening, and then you fucking get thrust into the story with the title track. Genevieve is on fire from the start and just continues that all the way through the album. She's stunning on this release. I think she's fantastic as a vocalist. Her vocal intensity is matched by lyrics. I'm glad that Dave mentioned like things like, if I was your god, I would abandon you too kind of thing. There is some seriously well done storytelling. The concept is pretty well executed, and the intensity is bang on for the style of music. But again, it's not harsh, it's not growly, but there is weight, impact, all those things you want from this style of music. It's all there, and the story being told is very, very fitting. As always, with this kind of stuff, and with this band in particular, got pounding drums and riffs on this one, great rhythm, along with all the flash you want in the lead work. This will make a lot of metalheads very, very happy out there. But there's some neat use of space and also some dissonance here, and in a way, it drives certain moments home. It aids the storytelling of the listen, which is cool. Nothing too technical, but it's all very well written, very well performed. But there's, for all this talk about being technical and concept and all that kind of stuff, there's some surprising hooks in this as well. Eternal Death Machine, I think, the phrasing on that was really well done. When you've got that voice, you're going to use it, and I think they've done it exceptionally well. But the phrasing gives you a hook effect, which makes these songs stick in your head, and that aids again with the storytelling because you keep going back for more. It's so well done. That song also allowed the bass to get some love too, which is cool. There's some great tempo and riff changes across this one, especially in that song. I love the use of groove there as well. But there's also some nice subtle use of low ends and vocal harmonies on this one too. Sonically, it's really well balanced and switches the overall tone between sort of being more digitized to sort of more raw or real kind of a thing very, very nicely. It's not a huge shift, but there are just sort of subtle differences from song to song, which work really nicely and aid the thing in the way it breathes and flows. You've got songs I was saying that are quite warm, actually surprisingly so, considering how digital it feels at the start of it. Everything is balanced, but there's some just that push and pull really does help this album move along. But again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but it's hard not to, because this is all about giving the platform for the vocals. Like, it just is so well done. The clarity is perfect between the performance, because the enunciation is critical to this, but also the way it's captured and mixed is perfect, because the lyrics are so important to an album like this. You have to get the concept across. You don't want to bury shit. You don't want to have it fucking too busy. You don't have it too loud or things being buried. It's got to be clear, and it's very, very clear without being at the front either. So it's right, balanced, perfect in the mix, and that aids the storytelling. It gives the drama you want in the composition, which allows it all to it hits home, which is a really well executed story. It's just very, very well done. I think, with that said, the album flows both musically and storyline wise. The use of groove and tempo changes across the album make it move nicely, which is good. It keeps you engaged. But again, nice use of harmony. The lead vocalist doing the harmonies isn't something we get a lot of anymore. Like, you normally have someone else in the band doing the harmonies these days. This time around, you got the actual lead vocalist doing all the harmony work, and it works incredibly well. There is a subtle, I think, male vocal here and there underneath that, which is a nice touch in this one as well. But it's very well done to hear the female vocal being, or the lead vocal, I should say, not the lead vocal being used for the harmonies. It was a really, really cool little touch there. The lies become truth has a little of Iron Maiden's Final Frontier about it. The building of tension and release there, especially with the guitar, is really cool across that one. So you're going to get a few different nods here. Like, overall, the song's a bit longer on this album, but the real epic in the path, which Dave touched on before, is the emotive song on this album. That is so well done. That has an almost Queensryche feel to it in some there as well. I forget the name of the song in particular. It jumped in my head. I should have written it down, but I didn't. But yeah, there's from Operation Mindcrime, there's a particular song that the path would cross over nicely with. It's a really nice touch there too. So you're getting a mix of, things between Iron Maiden, Final Frontier, and Book of Souls versus Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. You get those two in a blender with some stunning female vocals, and you're kind of landing about where this is at. It's a pretty good comparison as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, there's a good hook in that song as well. It passes on the bleakness, though, that the path, like that whole being alone, walking alone, there's this bleakness to the song, which is really conveyed incredibly well. And I like where it's placed on the album to give you that impact too. Revenge, following it, brings the energy back with another really nice hook as well. So again, the hooks are underrated on this album. You don't want to overlook them because they're really well done. And I like the use of guitar melody and guitar harmony to counterpoint the vocals in that track in particular as well. There's not a lot of tricks in this album, but it's very smart at the same time. There's some very tasteful but very impressive solos on this one. Everything here serves the songs nicely, which is well done. And I think concept albums, as a general rule, are incredibly hard to do. More often than not, I've always said it, there's always one track, at least one, which feels like it's being forced into the narrative. It just feels like it's being squeezed in there to make it sort of fill out the time. And it's funny because there is a song on this album that I feel like needed more work because it doesn't quite flow right for me. But Dave, it's one of your standout tracks. Evolution of Hate was one that for me it just felt funky. But this is the cool thing because it's one of your standout tracks, and for me, it's one I'd go and rework. So it's cool. Like that's the best part about how subjective music is. That's really cool. Yeah. I think the chorus is great in it. It's got another great hook that works well, but it's very wordy, and the verses need to be tidied up a little bit. For me, just listening to it, the way it came across, it was like the phrasing went over the top. It just didn't quite hit home for me, but I'm glad it did for you, which, like I said, one man's trash, another man's treasure kind of thing. Dave had a standard track, and I'm like, yeah, go and work on that some more. So it's cool either way. I just like the way it's a different opinion on that particular song. It's not a bad song. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad song at all. It just needed to be, cleaned up. It's a victim of where it sits around the rest of the album. It's just everything else is so slick by comparison to that one track for me personally. But again, Dave loved it, so it was almost there. It's just one of those things didn't quite grab me. The closing track, Ground Zero, that Dave mentioned before, the use of piano was a really nice setup for it, and the subtle thunder in the mix as well brings you back to the vibe of the whole listen on the album. Again, the bleak feel there was right on. The note choices in the beginning of the song really served that part of it. It closes the circle with the instrumental open of the album as well, and there's some nice dissonance which comes back into play there too. Like you said, after a couple of minutes of this piano stuff, you get one of the more blistering tracks on the album to close it out. What a way to finish it off. I think it's fantastic. Some of the best solos were saved until the very end of the album, which I think is cool. All in all, this is exactly what you want from this kind of music, not only from this band, but just the genre overall. If you want metal with melody, this is a band you cannot go past. I've got 7 albums now. If you haven't checked them out, go and do so. You're going to be very, very happy. It's powerful. It has loads of impact. It's really well put together. If you love your metal, you really need to get onto this band now. Check out their stuff. I love it. This is a great album. Another fine addition to their catalog. Well done to the band, and happy anniversary as well. 20 years this year as the band Temtris. So well done all around. Like Dave, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, so it's 2 for 2. I picked Chaos Divine, Eternal Death Machine, and Lies Become Truth as my standouts on that one. Jeff, did you manage to listen to that one at all, or is that not what you checked out yet?
What you guys said. No, but I will. I'm looking forward to it. I absolutely am. And so it sounds absolutely fucking epic. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. We got some comment. Oh, so Conrad's saying, thanks for having me on again. Looking forward to hopefully being back on again soon. Temtris Chaos Divine album launches at Diamond Dogs Dapto on the 8th of April. Alas, sorry I can't be there as I'm seeing Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin experience at the Emerald Theatre in Sydney at the same evening. Yes, it would be good. Like, they're obviously up north of us here in Melbourne, but no, they're a great band. So go and check them out. And Nikki, if you see this one, I know how much you love the band as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed the album too. Alrighty, let's get on to our final one for tonight. The last bit of business to get through is our classic album review as chosen by the Patreon audience. It's just Yngwie Malmsteen with Odyssey. In the comments in the description box, you'll have a link to the reference track with Heaven Tonight. It's like the best video I could find for this one, actually. So Yngwie Malmsteen, Odyssey is this week's Patreon choice album review. It's 12 tracks, 51 minutes, the fourth studio album from the Swedish guitarist, released April 1988 by Polydor Records. Produced by Yngwie with Jeff Glissman and Jim Lewis at 3 studios across the US. One single was released from this, with Heaven Tonight being the one. This is Yngwie's highest charting album in the US, peaking number 40 there, while also peaking number 27 in the UK, number 75 here in Australia, while also hitting numerous top 50s across Europe. It's been certified gold in Sweden, and this album came about a year after a nearly fatal car accident for Yngwie in 87. So he really had to come back from the brink to get this one out. We'll start with Dave, and I'm pretty sure, Jeff, you know this album well, if I'm correct there.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Jeff. Dave, your thoughts?
I know some people would probably prefer it, but vocals on a guitar shred album just seem really strange to me. as much as I like really well written lyrics, on a Yngwie Malmsteen album, they just wasted space in between guitar solos. Let's be honest. Now, I'm here for the guitar work, and Rising Forth never disappoints. There are killer guitar solos in every song. The keyboard solos are pretty awesome too.
Yeah, they're good.
You start, when you're a kid, you go for the guitar. As you get older, just like, yeah, keys are pretty cool. Not exactly a piano, not exactly a guitar. Somewhere in the middle. It's all good.
I think it was a Moog synthesizer, that one, from memory.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a trade-off between the Moog and the guitar. But come on. If you want to impress a chick, you say, I play guitar. You don't say, I play a Moog. Yeah, you want to date me? I play a Moog, baby. Yeah. That's what it is. Moog player. Doesn't have the same, I play guitar. Fucking yeah. Fingers, shit. Okay, as much as I joke about vocals and shit, they're actually really well done on this album. The lyrics and the hooks are actually a lot better than what you would expect. And they hold up really well today, all these years later, 30 years or so. Fucking yeah. The whole album, it's filled with great guitar solos, and this would probably be Yngwie's best work done in a band environment. Traditional songwriting with the perfect songwriting for radio and MTV. And let's face it, back in those days, you couldn't not have a killer guitar solo in your music video, whether it's Slash levitating on the fucking ocean or just, John Dokken on a fucking volcano, right?
Yeah.
You had to have a cool guitar solo until Kurt Cobain came along and fucked it up. But this album, you got the best of both worlds.
You need to move on from that.
No, I can't because he fucked it up. But, if you like guitar shred, there's enough there. The vocals won't put you off because, like I said, they're well done. If you do like actual songwriting and the lyrics and all the expression and emotive wordplay and everything, that's all there. And the excessive guitar playing won't put you off that either. There's enough for everyone to enjoy. This is a fucking great album. There are great hooks to the choruses, and once you've heard the songs a few times, you can just go through the track list and you're just like, yep, I can hear that, I can hear that, I can hear that. Cool song. Towards the end of the album, there's a song called Krakatoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent instrumental album. Finally, we get the singer to shut the fuck up. That's the way it's done. And it's a cool way to close the album. There's a 70-second track afterwards, which is called Memories. It's a bit mellow. That's pretty cool too. But that instrumental track, that's the way it's fucking done. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Cool fucking album. Rising Force, Right in the Dungeons, Deja Vu, and the instrumental song I can't pronounce. That one's good.
Dave, disrespect to Jolene Turner. Ouch, man.
He's overrated.
Oh,
he's
fighting words.
Hey, whatever, to each their own.
He's good on this.
Do you agree, or do you want to do a rebuttal? Which way are you going to play this one?
Am I going to agree with that? No, I respect.
I'm half right. Give me that. I'm half right.
I respect it, but it's hard to agree with it. I was just getting the song list up here in front of me, because I could remember. All right. Now, interesting note about Krakatoa, that instrumental on the album, that was a volcano, I think, in the South Pacific. And when it went off back in the 1800s or something, it was the loudest sound ever heard on Earth.
Yeah.
I mean,
still holds the record.
Like it was literally heard around the world.
By a guitar solo. That's why it went off.
Probably was. That's right.
So 1800s was probably a fucking loop solo.
The opening track is Rising Force, so that kind of tells you.
Absolutely. Now, this album for me, I believe, just double check. Yeah, so it's 35 years old. It came out the same year as Appetite was 87, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So a year later, okay, but close enough. And I'll tell you, when I heard this album in 88, because I was a huge fan. In fact, the guy that is with me in the other room, he's too shy to get on camera, he said, but he is an amazing musician, amazing guitar player. He's toured all across North America in his bands.
Cool.
And within about 2 weeks of this album dropping, he knew it and he played it note for note.
Wow.
So yeah, Malmsteen, this guy's got, he's got the
Yeah.
chops. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's ass. He could do
Oh,
it.
sorry. No, I
Yeah.
forgot. Fuck, I gotta cut you off. I've actually interviewed Yngwie Malmsteen. Okay, I
Have
had a
you?
15-minute conversation with him on the phone. He's actually a really, really nice guy. It was really nice to talk to him. He cops a lot of shit. I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah, name dropping. I've spoken to Yngwie Malmsteen. Top bloke. Stop calling him a prick. The dude likes a donut. I like a donut. I don't care. It's all good.
Yeah,
Fucking great.
He doesn't like donuts.
Hey, yeah, that whole Unleash the Fury thing on the airplane. Everyone, if you ever don't know what that is, just Google Yngwie Malmsteen airplane. That's all you need. You'll get it. Someone recorded it. You can hear it.
Yeah.
He liked it so much that he
had a bad
released
morning.
an album. Yeah, but he released an album by the name of Unleash the Fury a few years later.
Yeah.
But getting back to this album, Dave, you can cut me off anytime you want. I don't care.
No,
It doesn't bother me at all. Well, I'm just a guest after all. So I'm on,
I'll show some respect.
No, you're fine. You weren't disrespectful at all.
No.
So
No.
I think this album for me was like, I'm a really big fan of this album and the next album, which was Eclipse.
Yep.
And then of course you had Fire and Ice, and I like it, but nowhere near the first 5 albums or whatever in Yngwie's career were amazing. And this was the first album where he said, yeah, I can write fucking songs. I can write songs. And the Joe Lynn Turner coming in, who had done Rainbow, obviously an amazing vocalist. And ironically, Yngwie's, that's a weird sound. You hear that sound?
There's a plane in the background for me.
Okay. I thought it was a weird echo. So, I could hear some weird sound. Doesn't matter. There, interrupted myself. We're 2 for 2. All right. So Yngwie's favorite guitar player of all time, of course, is Ritchie Blackmore. Yeah. And who did Ritchie Blackmore have in Rainbow singing on vocals? Joe Lynn Turner. So then for him to get his favorite guitar player's singer was kind of like a coup, really.
Yeah.
And it sort of aligned the bands. But
it's the guitarist cuckolding effect.
Yeah, exactly right. So this album really was a strong album in my teens, because I was a teenager when it came out, and it really, really impacted me. And in a strong way, I was trying to play guitar, like I said, in the late 80s when I started taking it seriously. And then having a friend who could play it note for note just made me want to fucking puke and break my guitars and turn them all into fucking kindling, I don't think there's a bad song on this album. I think every song is look, Rising Force, Hold On, Heaven Tonight, Dreaming, Riot in the Dungeons, Crystal Ball, that's Faster Than the Speed of Light, Krakatoa, and then Memories, that little outro. But there's not a bad song on the album. I think every song is fucking fantastic. And if you're just new to Malmsteen, or if you've heard of Malmsteen but never actually taken the plunge, this is the album to start. Jump on this, then go back. Go back. Don't go fucking forward. Just go back.
Don't go forward.
He did go forward. Eclipse was a good album. And Fire and Ice, lesser extent. But I think Eclipse, but seriously, prior, but it was like all the previous albums were kind of like the old prog rock, 20-minute songs. Malmsteen did that in this neoclassical shred stuff, and borrowing from his heroes, Bach and whatnot. So, but there's none of that really on here. You get his ability to write songs, to play decent music, to keep them less than 5 minutes, and have great lyrics. And Joe Lynn Turner, what a fucking voice! What a voice, man. I've got so much respect for Joe Lynn Turner. Recently, he came out. I don't know if you know this. He came out. He's been a lifelong sufferer. He's got alopecia, and so he's been like bald practically his entire adult life. But people didn't know it because he's wearing a wig. And so now he's come out and he's just went, fuck it. I'm not wearing the wig anymore. I'm proud of who I am.
Yeah.
And and the pictures that he
Keep
did.
him away from Chris Rock. Fuck.
No, keep away from Will Smith.
Yeah. That's more importantly. Yeah. The slap that was heard around the world.
Yeah.
So Krakatoa and the slap, they have something in common. But it's true, they do.
It's true.
I would, if I had to rate this album like 1 to 10, on its own for what it is, I think it's a 9.9. It's not quite 10. I always reserve that for bands like Rush, but not tonight.
Yep.
I'm waffling on tonight. I got picking Annihilator is just throwing me off my game, but it is what it is. This is a great album. Start here, listen to Odyssey, go back, and then once you get there, go forward a couple albums, and then never buy any other album that he's ever done after that ever again, because you don't need to. It's all there. The rest of it's shit. I think, what did Jimmy say about that one album that he did? What was that? He said it was the worst fucking album he's ever heard in his life.
Something like that. I think we've also made a comment. I think Dennis said about one of his albums,
World on Fire,
recorded by a potato, with a potato, in a potato, kind of thing. Like it was just
World on Fire, I think it was called. Yeah. Perpetual.
I think my comment on that was I like to set the album on fire. I think that was my comment on that album in particular. That was bad.
Unfortunately, the guy is an amazing musician, but he has forgotten what it is to write songs. So now it's just and he can't write.
He doesn't let people say no to him. That's the biggest problem now. It's like you've gotta.
There's no one to challenge him and say, "Hey, dude, no," because he produces everything, and all the musicians he's got they're just backup. And if you say anything, you're gone.
And he'll go and do the drums himself or do the vocals himself. He doesn't care anymore. And why not? I mean, he can do what he wants. Don't get me wrong. But
he's an artist. He can do what he wants. The worst thing I think he's ever done is open his mouth trying to sing, because he cannot fucking sing to save his life.
No, that was
no. But not taking anything away. Joe Lynn Turner, this album, 9.9. Boom, get on it if you haven't. And now I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about Ender.
I think we did Fire and Ice last year, and I think this is the album you told me to go and check out as a counterpoint to that. Now, for people that have been following the show for quite some time, I'm not really a big Yngwie fan. I'm not really a big guitar wankery fan. I like songs, and so I always come across Yngwie and go, "Oh fuck, here we go."
I was expecting you.
That is my first thought every single time, because I've done the opposite. This is the first time I've listened to this album, I think, from memory. Whereas I've gone the other way, which Jeff said don't go, and that's I've started with much later albums, which are just cemented in my mind, just like, what the fuck am I listening to?
No.
And that's actually doing a disservice to the career he's had up till the earlier stuff, I should say. Now, when he has someone like Joe Lynn Turner to be a foil for him, I think that's absolutely phenomenal, and that's what's required. Dave, I'm going to disagree with you, and not even respectfully, okay? Fuck off with the wankery. He needs someone to go, that's enough. Let me fucking do something here, because you've got to have
more wankery.
No. And you and I always disagree. It's the same from Yngwie through to Nita Strauss. We'll go head to head on this shit every single time.
Oh, Nita can fucking wank all day if she wants to. Fuck
yeah. Yeah. That's about right. Yeah, there'll be some wanking from some other people too, I think. Yeah.
Well, it'll be a shared experience. So
you're into that sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
And who isn't? Yeah.
Oh, well, if you're just need your own keyboard, no one's going to know anyway. It'll be the whole meme where the guy from South Park is just in his own, computer room. Anyway, for me, look, I traditionally struggle with Yngwie. I don't really. I appreciate his talent. I get it. He can play a million notes a second, and it's fucking impressive for a minute, and then it gets fucking tiring to me. It's so tiring. This one though, like, when he's written actual songs with great vocalists, it works. And when he's done other work when it wasn't under his own name with other people and he was part of a team, he's phenomenal when he can set aside himself and play the song. I think he's absolutely brilliant at that. One of the best to do it. And I think if he did more of that, I think I would appreciate his legacy a lot more. That said, do what you want. I'm not going to sit here and say don't do it. It's just for me personally, I struggle so hard with just a million notes a minute just because you can. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Even the great composers like Bach, Mozart, all those ones, Beethoven, they always left space. There was always room to breathe. There's a thing called tension and release in composition. It's important. I don't care how many notes you can play. I want to have some feel and some flavor and some tastes and all that sort of stuff. I want to have an experience, not just a barrage. Anyway, this album has a killer vocalist, which makes it fucking good because he wrote songs with that in mind. Someone wrote that after his car accident, this one felt a bit subdued and that. And I'm like, good. It fucking worked. Like, it worked because it all served the songs here. The opening track is killer.
The message here is before Yngwie makes the album, make sure you try and hit him with your car.
Not what I'm saying, but I'm not going to complain. It's joking, obviously, people. Yeah. Look, the opening track is killer. Rising Force is a fantastic track. The power in the vocals is a great foil for Yngwie, and you get the neoclassical style that he's known for in a great amount on this one as well, which is absolutely fantastic to get the 1-2 punch of a great vocalist with his trademark individual style that is so influential on a lot of other people, let's be honest, is it's a classical stamp on this stuff, and it works so well as a 1-2 combination. The addition of synth on this one was great as well. I like how they had the synth solos as a counterpoint, which was cool as well. Again, this is showing clearly it's not just about the guitar or the ego at this point in time. This is about complete songs. And having the synth solos done by Yngwie, I believe, was actually fucking great. Like, it worked. It was really good. There's plenty of flash here. Don't get me wrong. There is loads of flash. Yngwie plays his ass off, but everything serves the songs, and it's tasteful. It's well done. There's some great hooks in this one. It's easy to see why Rising Force in particular is one of the most played songs on this album overall. That song is timeless individually. But then you get to Hold On, the second track, and no one else has mentioned it, but it feels to me the same chord progression from Hang On by the Little River Band 11 years earlier. It's that if you go and listen,
hang on,
but the chord progression, it's the chord progression, just the opening bars, one's slower and one's fast, but the same notes are used. I'm like, hang on, literally, I can hear this song in a different way. But that song, Hang On, the Hold On. It's funny how the song is called Hold On, and it reminds me of Hang On. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? It's just this weird echolalia thing going on, but that's where the 80s sort of stuff kicks in on this one. This is heavily dosed in the 80s. It has the sonics and the feel from the era, certainly time stamped, which holds it back a little bit by today's standards. But if you're looking for nostalgia, this will give you the right hit in all the right ways because it hasn't aged badly. It's just got a timestamp to it. The songs outweigh any sort of timestamping I'm talking about. The songs are fantastic. That's the most important thing. That's what makes you keep coming back to listen to the record. The mix is well balanced. It's actually held up pretty well. It's just that the composition, the style, and the overall feel of it is very 80s, but it's held up well. Sonically, it's mixed nicely. Great tones. It all sits the way it should. It's well done. And there's great clarity across all this too, which allows the performances to shine. This is the Yngwie and Jolene Turner show combined, not just the Yngwie show. And both of them go off the fucking wall. They're both fantastic on this one. Some of this is a little bit chasing the dragon. Heaven Tonight. It's a good song. I think it's a fantastic song, but it's clearly written to be a hit kind of thing. It's got all the tropes that you can think of to make it a hit. And it worked. Don't get me wrong. It was probably the most successful song he's had on radio overall. So it worked. It's a good song. There are some big hooks on this album overall, but in particular that track. Not a lot of tricks on this one. There's the occasional bit of panning here and there, but all in all, it's pretty direct. But there's some nice gear changes. The album flows nicely through tempo changes, which is good. Again, not a million notes a minute. There's actually some breathing room. There's some tension, some release. There's, peaks, troughs, and dynamics for the old school of us. Have a fucking drink. It's like I said, the subdued thing was a funny note for me, but This is 80s in a lot of ways, but not and maybe not as much flash as, the diehards would want, Dave in particular. But if you want an album full of actual songs with some feel and some groove, then this is one you really should check out. Now is the time. Even has a little bit of a Bon Jovi feel about it. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that one too, but now it's something a little bit of a Bon Jovi sort of vibe. That's how much more accessible this album is compared to so much more of his work. And that's what makes it intriguing and interesting to me. All in all, like me, if you struggle with the one-dimensional side of the guitar wankery stuff, then this is one you really should check out. I recommend it highly. It's easy to get into. It's held up pretty well, and it's got plenty of flash. But again, it all serves the whole, not the ego. Very nice listen. I could easily go back to this one. I gave an 8 out of 10. Rising Force, Heaven Tonight, and Deja Vu, my standout tracks on this one. So that's what there you go. I think I did better with that one than I have with a lot of other of Yngwie stuff.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. Because, it is a great album. It really is. On its own, it's brilliant. And, if you like it, if anyone out there is listening to it and likes it, and you want more of it, the follow-up album is a live album called Live in Leningrad, and it's fucking phenomenal. It's got Jolyn Turner on vocals as well. So brilliant. Yeah,
definitely. There's some videos of that kicking around too if you feel like going down a YouTube rabbit hole as well. So go for it. Got some comments. Rowan's chimed in. Love the early Malmsteen. This one is more of a melodic album than most of the others of this era, more than the others of the era, but I still love it. Easy 9 out of 10. Malmsteen is an underrated rhythm player. I'll actually agree with that. I think he is underrated as a rhythm player. Just wish he'd do more of it. Rowan says Dave's interviewed him, but he doesn't say his name right.
He didn't get pissed off with me. We're like, "How you doing, Yngwie?" Wow, what the fuck is this?
I think the keys on this is not him. It's Jens Johansson. I think
the keys themselves. Hold on, Jens Johansson was doing it, but
the dude from Stradivarius.
Yeah.
One and the same. Cool. Oh, you have a new appreciation, dude. Too late. You fucking said it was sucked.
Yeah. But Yngwie did play the Moog on this one. He played the Moog.
Oh, right.
He played the Moog.
He set the Moog for the album.
I set the
Moog. Right. Here we go. Vinny says, I'm picturing Lady and the Tramp with a donut between Dave and Yngwie. So there we go.
I like donuts, man. We'll share them with that fat guy.
Philo has asked if I'm drinking Blacktooth Green. No, I'm not. I'm drinking port. I like port, so I'm drinking.
Oh,
port
nice.
tonight.
Port's nice. Yeah,
I like port. It's a good. I have a couple of beers to start, and then I get onto the fortified wine afterward. So Dimebag's favorite. I'll drink pretty much anything though. In my opinion, though, from Philo, Yngwie never really got his full potential revealed, like in a band situation. I kind of agree. I think there is some, but he could have done a lot better overall as a career. I think if he'd have been able to.
Absolutely
Work more with other people.
Considering his hero was, Richie Blackmore, and Richie Blackmore, like or hate him, he had a big ego as well. But in a band, Deep Purple, I mean,
he worked.
It worked, and not just on one album.
Blackmore's Night is cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But even the stuff he did with Ronnie Romero was pretty cool as well. So he's able to work with
other people.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Malmsteen, he eventually did something with Ripper Owens. He released an album there. I think it might have been the Unleash the Fury album. I'm not sure. And that wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't, it was like a solid 6 out of 10. But vocally it was really good. But unfortunately the songs were puke. But,
But that's where it'll be an interesting challenge one day. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it, but just to go through an Yngwie rabbit hole for me, just to see how much I could push myself to go through it. Just because it's always good to self-test. It's always good to self-test. You might surprise yourself.
Yanni's better.
Yeah, I'd even go with Vi.
Yeah. But the G3 concert they did years ago, the three of them together, that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
But then Vi, Satriani, and Petrucci from Dream Theater, that was fucking great.
Yeah. Nicole's chimed in with saying, I tolerated Trilogy, but he bores the crap out of me. So,
Trilogy was a good album. I mean, but it's very neoclassical and it's
Yeah. Rowan also said Malmsteen has had plenty of light and shade. He slows down to 150 BPM several times on this album.
But only just for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, very briefly. Nicole said, just because you can doesn't mean you should, and I completely agree with that.
Of course it does.
Dave.
If you don't, how do people know that
Dave.
you can?
Because Dave, as I keep telling you, less can be fucking more.
See, that's what I was just going to get on.
It's grunge.
There's an interview on YouTube that you can watch about Malmsteen talking. He's sitting in a white plush chair, so that might help you find it. But the guy talks about him, and he says he heard someone say that, less is more. And his counter to that was, yeah, that's impossible. And it's true. More is more. Less cannot be more. And that's true.
Less is more. That's bullshit.
It's all about light and shade. And Malmsteen's never really learned that.
Less is more is a flannel shirt and dirty sneakers.
No, Dave. No, Dave.
On stage
No,
Dave. How much his life sucks.
When you get into the detail of production, what you do sonically and frequency-wise by taking things down in the mix as opposed to boosting the fuck out of everything does bring more light and shade to the songs because you change.
That's production. I'm talking about playing. More of those.
It's really, at the end of the day, it's the last people to touch the album before it gets released.
They got nothing to touch if there's those performances there.
Oh, and no one's going to hear it if it's not put down right. So take your fucking pick.
True.
But there is, I'll debate this one until the cows come up. Dave and I have done this so many times.
I'm with you. Andrew. 100%.
Man, you got to release that grunge special we did. Fucking hell.
It's been on TV. Anyway.
And I know you hate Michael.
I literally threw in the bin.
Sweet grunge. You could do that. Sweet grunge. So for play on words, you hate
absolute torture. Did you imagine Nirvana riffs with Michael Sweet vocals?
Oh wow! Yeah, that might fucking lead me to top myself. I tell you, that's a nasty premise.
Smells like Teen Spirit with fucking God lyrics over it. Load up on God, praise your friend.
It smells like Spirit. That's all.
Oh yeah. There you go. It's already got the whole spirit thing going.
Smells like Spirit. Oh, how long's his wife been dead?
Oh, Dave, enough. Fucking not again. Sonia, are you still here? Because you'll know that one. Sally's jumped. I'm going to move on. Sally said, no Yngwie wankery for me. I'd listen to a song here or there, but as was pointed out last week, there is so much out there to hear and only so much time. I'd rather listen to something else. And that is a sentiment that if something doesn't grab you, then by all means, go and listen to something else.
Yep.
Vinny says, in addition to Sally, being old, I can barely stay awake by the time I get to F in the alphabet, so I don't get to Yngwie when it comes to searching for music, which is fucking funny. Well done.
Hey, no, it's only go to G. So if you get to A, if you get to F, Yngwie's done a good job.
Oh God, here we go. Here we go. Dave. And Philo says more like sort of more. Yeah, that's the debate we're having at the moment. Is more or less can be more. It's a sonic thing. It's a different debate. It's one of those ones where it really does show the differences. Like even though Dave can be very alike, Dave and I can be very alike. It shows you how philosophically different we can be.
Yeah,
music.
Which is great.
Yeah,
but you don't want someone blowing smoke up your ass all the time.
No,
that's what makes the show. Absolutely,
it's got to be. You got to have different points of view. That's what makes it work.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's boring. It's just
we got to review Chinese democracy, man. We're going to get into a fucking death match.
You and I. Fuck.
When Chinese democracy came out,
we did that. We did it live in front of an audience, and God, for hours. Those reviews from that special, the Guns N' Roses at Whole Lotta Love. Oh my God! I'm surprised the band didn't play a fucking note that night.
It wasn't even me going on and on. It was fucking
you did. Byron just went harder. That was all. For the first time someone harder.
I shut up because I knew he was taking up time. I wanted to keep the thing going.
That was a long time ago. We'll eventually release that one at some point. But yeah. But that about brings us toward the end. That's what we had planned to cover off tonight. Thanks for the latecomers and the people that have stuck with us through the duration. It's been a longer one tonight. When you would be. We're going to be taking a couple of weeks off from the streaming side of things. Easter's coming up. I'm heading away, like I was saying before. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge to logistically get anything done. So we'll be back on, what's today? Today is the 30th. So let me go through here. So I'm back. So we're back on the 20th of April, I imagine, is the plan there. Yes,
20th of April.
20th of April, which sounds like a long time away, but by the time, because next Thursday is the one before Easter, and I'll be on the road by then heading up north, and then we're back on the weekend of the 15th, 16th. So that's why it's going to be the following Thursday, which, like, it sounds like a long time, but it's 2 weeks off.
No, it goes by quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Christmas,
there's reasons.
Easter, zombie time. But,
Yeah,
school
it is.
holidays, so if you got kids, you're going to be busy anyway. Like I will.
Yeah.
Zombie time.
Zombies. They always find a way to hook it into the horror thing. No, but we'll be back
The
at times.
time was drunk as fuck. He woke up a few days later. I was, oh my fucking head.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
I would say so. But yeah, no, we're going to be back off for a
He's
couple of weeks.
ordering the wine, for Christ's sake. He's an alky.
Yeah, well, that's it. That kind of tells you everything you need to know right there. Now, look, we're going to be off for a couple of weeks for streaming. There'll be TV stuff going ahead. Don't worry, TV still going on. We're going to be doing some online content. There'll be still stuff released on social, so keep up to date with us. Just for a live stream aspect, it's going to be a bit challenging because I'll be in rural area with not a lot of internet, so it's going to be rather challenging to do anything like that. We like to get away when we can, and I'll be updating people on what that is all about very, very soon as well. What do we got here? We got some comments. Here we go. Sonia goes, "What did I miss?" I just said my name way back from the bathroom. Well, that's an interesting image there, Sonia. But
yeah, Sonia, if you're hearing your name in the bathroom, I don't want to know.
No, but
It's the reason they call it the water closet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Dave went into old territory talking about a certain someone's wife, so we'll leave that one.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So,
Forgot what it is.
well, my birthday is April 21st. Sweet. Nice. Right near mine as well, which is cool. Conrad says, Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd once said, "It's not about how many notes you play, it's about where you place the spaces between the notes," Dave. And I agree with that completely.
I agree. Yep. I fucking love David Gilmour.
Yeah.
Such a great guitar player.
Vinny's gone on a holy journey over Easter to deliver holy scriptures, Andrew. No, I could. My father's a minister, but no, I won't be. I'll be avoiding. That's not my bag. No, I'll be going away in the middle of nowhere because that's what we like to do, and it's a way for us to get away. We have a place in Queensland we like to go to, which is really, really fucking out of the way, which is just nice to get peace and quiet because my wife and I are extremely busy 90% of the time. So when we get a chance to take a break, we take it. And like I said, we're going to burn some annual leave and have some fun with that. Get some time away. Just take a break whenever we can because, yeah, we both are full on all the time. So, yeah, just unplug for a bit. It's important to do it, I think, to keep the balance up.
You have to.
Nicole says, "Shush, Dave, hate the school holidays. Kid is home."
I'm taking time off work. I love school holidays.
Yeah, well, that's awesome too. But Vinny's gone in the meantime. Dave has activated his OnlyFans account over Easter. 100 different uses for the Holy Cross.
Well, that's an idea. I can work with that.
All right.
I love peppermint eggs.
Oh, wow. Okay. All I'm thinking of is the ping pong trick right now. But anyway.
Holy shit.
No, I can't work with that. Shit.
OnlyFans. We're having some fun now. All righty. Special shout outs time. Shout out to TC, Sonia, Lee, Bell, Conrad, Jason, Jeff, Brendan, 6x9, Marty, Sam, Trash, Carolyn, Gwyneth, Andrew, Daniel, Manfamily, Adam, Darren, Vinny, and Ulla as well for signing up to our Patreon page. Help us out there if you can. If you feel so inclined to do so, we greatly appreciate it. A big thank you to our fantastic sponsors as always too. Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details. Give them a look in the description box for this one. Give them a follow, a like, a share. It's always greatly appreciated. It helps them, which helps us in turn too. And if you want to follow us on your preferred social platform, all the details you need to know are in there as well. Make sure you check us out on telly, like I was saying before, every Saturday night on Channel 30 in Melbourne at 10:30 p.m. Melbourne time, and then Thursday nights at 10:30 p.m. on Channel 44 in Adelaide, also local time, so Adelaide time for that one there as well, Australian Central. What have we got? Like I said, we're going to take a couple of weeks off for the streaming side of things. There'll be content going on, so we're not taking a complete break, just the live streams will be off for a couple of weeks. Back on the 20th, I think it was that I said before. And our next theme for the Battle series is going to be concept albums. So that'll be our next King of the Riff, which is going to be very, very interesting to see how that one shakes out. So again, stay tuned for more polling to get the audience choice top 10 and determine the seeding. That's what it's going to be all about. Quickly look through any more comments here. So Nicole says, near me, probably not. Depends what part of Queensland. We're going up to the Kin region. So I'm not sure where you are, Nicole, but yeah, we're heading up to the Kin area. And Vinny says, I can always rely on Dave to go politically incorrect with me. He's rated 3 Michelin chef hats.
Good job.
Oh, well done, Vinny. Alrighty, so it is that time of the week where we've wrapped things up. I think I've done all the usual spiel and preamble and make sure everyone knows what the fuck's going on. So, without any further ado, let's feed the bin for the week. And Dave, what have you got?
Okay, I had a few, but I'm going to go with one. I'm going to drop the mood, but I'm going to put Americans in the bin. How many of your kids have to die before you get the fucking message? It's not your constitution. It's not your amendment. It's not a personal attack on you. It's your kids. Okay, you might have to give up something that you like for the greater good. Grow the fuck up. Americans in the bin. It's enough.
Yeah, that's hard to beat that one, isn't it? It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing watching it from overseas. Just watching, I don't know what happens in their echo chamber over there, but it's disturbing.
Yeah,
to say the least. I can't really add on to that one. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say there, Dave, but I can't add on to that one.
No, that's good.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, anything for the bin?
Yeah, well, mine is actually kind of related to what Dave, I'm not trying to upstage you, but when it comes to, those sort of things that happen, the guns and the shooting and stuff like this is terrible, obviously. But this time around, the media has went too far. So the first thing they did was, okay, it's a woman. This time it's a woman, but it's a transgender woman. Okay. So was she a man before? Was she transitioning into who the fuck cares?
Doesn't matter.
When's the last time that we had a shooting or something like that? And the first thing they said, a straight male today attacked people. Who the fuck cares?
Who cares?
And they've politicized this. So unfortunately, the transgender community, the fucking gay community, all that stuff, the LGBTQ, and IZTs, whatever the fuck else they've got. They're all gonna get fucked over on this because for no reason other than the fact that it's like that's what the media does now. They don't just report on fucking things; they have to manufacture shit. And so that whole mindset, like who gives a flying fuck what between their legs and what they do with consenting adults behind closed doors? Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
So that gets in the fucking bin for me.
Yeah. We're having a somber night tonight at the end. And I agree. I put the whole thing last week with the Nazis and the trans community protesting in the bin last week because I again, like I said last week, quit punching down on people in my family because fuck you, I'll have an issue with you if you keep doing that. And I'm having a gut full of all this shit at the moment when it comes to picking on the LGBTQI plus and the trans community and all that kind of stuff. Just fuck right off with your rhetoric. Like you said, Jeff, it doesn't matter what people as consenting adults do with their time that doesn't impact anyone else. Just leave them be. Leave them the fuck alone. No one's out to get anyone else apart from the people who want to punch down on minorities. It's fucking disastrous. But anyway, before I did that rant last week. So my rant this week is actually kind of much more somber. I had I said at the top of the episode I'd have something to put in the bin this week, which is linked into something that was negative for me this week, which is we had an old friend of ours from way back when actually take their own life the weekend past, which was Dave knows this. It's why we were scheduled to film some stuff last week, and we didn't do it because I wasn't really feeling it once I got the news about this. And my bin in that context is suicide. I think that I know I'm not trying to sit here and say you can always reach out. I know for some people it's just too hard and you can't in the end, and that is just the way it is. I'm much more empathetic to this now than I was in my younger days. However, if you can find a way, always, please make the phone call, make the text message, reach out to people, reach out to the helplines, do whatever you need to do before you take one step too far and you can't come back from it. I've lost a few people in my life now to this scourge. We need more investment in mental health, and especially with the conversations that are happening at the moment, it's more important than ever before to take care of these things. So I think that, investment in mental health is critically important because the world is moving so much faster now as well that people are feeling like they're getting left behind or lost. And I think the more empathy and the more time and effort we can devote to it. And it's not about being a boomer and saying harden up. We've got to get past that attitude as well. It's not about that anymore. It's about actually understanding what's going on, getting to the cause of it, and fixing the problem itself. Treat it as a medical thing, not a softness thing or an old school thing.
No.
It's got to be actually dealt with the right way. It's time we do. I've got a lot of people in life that have dealt with a lot of demons over the years, and I just it's funny seeing people go. Or not funny, but it's disconcerting to see people go when you know they could have had so much more to give if the right things were in place to help them out along the way. So before you do anything final, do what you can to make that final call to reach out to people, because it is very important, because the people you leave behind, no matter how you're feeling in the moment, will miss you deeply. And it can't be undone. So if anyone hears that, make that
Beyond Blue or something. There's
Beyond Blue, all the resources. I don't have all the numbers on hand, but just do it. Do the Google. Just go, I need help. Ring friends, ring family. Keep ringing until you get a hold of someone to try and talk you off the ledge. Please.
That's right.
You can't undo it once you're there. And
I remember. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go on. It's all right.
No, I was just going to say, I remember one time Bill Ward was doing an interview talking about, suicide and kids committing suicide. Bill Ward from Black Sabbath. And he said something that was very profound. And I always remembered it. And he just said that, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Although I will say, on the empathetic side of things, for the people that are feeling it, it doesn't feel temporary. So I have empathy for that. It's just that it's one of those things that you just wish.
There's always another day. It's always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah, but all those cliches, unfortunately, don't quite get people through.
No, they don't. No, that's right. But all of us have felt. All of us.
If you know someone,
there's no point in like when someone says, "Oh,"
ask the question.
Yeah, I know. I've felt. There's been times when in my life I've just
everyone has,
and everyone does.
Everyone has a dark time,
but you will get through it. You just need help, and there's lots and lots of help out there. I just called up the Beyond Blue number, so can I read it out?
Yeah, go for it, please do.
So it's 1-300-224-636.
Yep.
So
all those things are there, and also open up the conversation. We need to be more open in this conversation in society general. I know we're the Hard Rock Show, and it's a thing. We are real people talking about real things a lot of the time. So this sort of stuff comes up, and so just please do that extra step if you can do so, because but people you leave behind do feel it much more keenly than you'll ever imagine. I know you don't feel it at the time, but that's how it works. I do have a couple of lighthearted bins though, because we're off for a couple of weeks. So I figured, fuck it, I'll throw some more in the bin. I'm going to try and lighten the mood. Lighten the mood here. Driving home today, this is the thing. I was behind a guy in a turning lane, and the light turned green. He waits. All the cars have gone. There's 10 meters between us and the actual intersection. So I give a little tap on the horn, going, "Okay, off you go." No movement. So I go, "Bam," and he's like, "Oh," wakes up and just crawls off. And then as the light's about to go red, he goes through the fucking thing, and I get stuck at the fucking red light. You piece of shit. Fuck you. You can get in the bin, you feral fuckwit. Also, while I'm on a rant, the Port Adelaide Football Club, fuck you, okay? Collingwood smashed you last week, and we're probably going to get smashed tomorrow night playing Richmond. But the prison bar thing, how Collingwood allowed you to wear it, but you don't even give a bit of a thanks to it, just like acknowledging that someone else, you signed an agreement where you signed away your rights to that thing, and then someone else lets you do it anyway, and you don't even acknowledge that. Get off your high horse, you fuckheads. You had to beg for it, and you should be fucking just be thankful. But also, we have an old car, which has been sitting out in the fucking nature strip for fuck knows how long, because the registration lapsed. None of us want the car. We're actually going to get rid of it very shortly. But we're just waiting for the right time to sort of clean it up and get rid of it. Until day before yesterday, I've come home and there's a nice big fucking yellow sticker on the windshield saying you got to remove the car. Now, it's on the nature strip in the front of our house, right next to a tree. It takes up maybe a half meter at most of the road, less than if someone actually parked there with a registered car. But for some reason, we get the notice saying you got to move your fucking car off. So I moved it today. It's on the fucking property. Took the sticker off, and the council going to get fucked. But the council and the fucking poor bastard on this court that has no life and decides to dob in that car, go fuck yourself. Get in the fucking bin. Get alive. Seriously, fuck off.
Get in the fucking bin.
What are you doing? What are you doing? It wasn't hurting anyone, that car. It was literally almost off the road. If I'd have had it on the fucking nature strip, if the tree wasn't there, it would be on the nature strip. It was just there's a tree there, and it's like right up against it. It's like maybe 70 centimeters on the road itself. It's like, what? If a bush bike was riding, it'd take up more room. fuck off. What are we doing? Get a life.
Get a fucking life.
What have we got here? Some comments. Nicole says Ipswich. I did a quick look. That's about 2.5 hours away from where I'm going to be, so probably not quite close enough. But Nicole says the Constitution was written when muskets were around and it took 10 minutes to reload. This is actually to rise up against the British.
Yep.
You can argue the semantics. We all know it here in Australia. It's just funny watching the Americans just completely ignore that facet. And it's all about a well-regulated militia. Nothing's well-regulated about their firearms at all. Right. Nicole says hugs to you all. Thank you for that. It's a shame. Same Vinny here to all of you, which is nice. Vinny says, sorry to bring the mood down even further, but Collingwood near the top of the ladder is a virus. I'm happy to go.
That is true.
Vinny, I'm happy as fuck about that. So I'm going to take it.
That's good. That's a good one.
So, and Sally's going, sorry if you lost, Andrew. Thank you for that. It is an interesting time, and thank you all for the kind words. I do appreciate it. Like I said, we don't like to. It's not like we do it for fun or for clicks or whatever. It's just that we're real people talking about real things, and it's just this happened this week, so I figured I said we got to open the conversation, so let's be open about it and actually talk about these things because it helps, I think, in the long run to make it more acceptable to discuss these things. But on a lighter side, Nicole's gone, what's the driver from Queensland? Well, it had Victoria plates on it, so that's all I know about it. But fuck, if I tell you what, that prick, I can't believe that that happened. Just like, really? And then the light's about to go red and you go through anyway. It's like, what the fuck? Like, dickhead in the road. Fuck off. Get off my road, basically. All right. I think that's it. I think we're done. We've got a lot of people still with us tonight, so thank you all so much for sticking around. You've done very, very well. Hopefully you've all enjoyed the show. A bit of a longer one. We're going to be off for a couple of weeks, but we'll do some stuff online, so make sure you keep following us because we've got a lot of polling to get done as well with the with stuff there too. So we've got polling to get done. Something there, Jeff?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you got room in the bin for a toupee with Trump's head attached to it? He's in the fucking bin.
Yeah.
Can't stand that. I can't stand. I'm sorry. Keep bringing it up.
There's always room for that. He's an interesting character, that one. But yeah, yes, the dustbin for that one.
He denies that he has a toupee too. That's a real hair. He says, "Yeah, okay." Yeah,
no, doubtful. Vinny's got a good one here though. Vinny's saying, "Stay safe over the Easter period, everyone, and likewise to all of you out there. We'll be online.
Don't crucify yourself."
But also on a more serious note, the road toll does take a massive spike, generally speaking, over a long weekend. So please stay safe, drive safe, no matter what you're doing, wherever you're going. Take it easy, take those breaks when you need to as well. Speaking as someone who drives from Melbourne to Queensland quite often, it is important to take those breaks. So do so whenever you feel the need to. Even if you don't quite feel like you need to yet, it's better to take the break than to not. So stay safe, do all the right things, look after yourselves. We want to see you all here in a couple of weeks back with us again as well, and we all want to be here too. So on that note, I think we'll start to wrap things up. Is there anything else you want to throw in here quickly, or are we going to wrap this and get out of here?
No,
I'm good, except that everyone tune in Saturday night to catch me on the Hard Rock Show on
That's right.
31. Yes.
Canada.
My debut. Canada.
Beautiful.
So
that'll be on.
That.
Yes, there'll be some social posts going about that as well, but that is coming on Saturday night. That marathon is going to air. So a 2-hour episode coming up, which is nice of Channel 31, actually. Thankful for them for reschedule that one in for us too, which is a nice little touch there too.
Thanks,
all right.
Guys.
But that'll do for now. We'll get out of here and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Until next time around, though, in a couple of weeks, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeff. Rush still is great.
Rush is always great. But until next time, you know what to do, folks.
Drink up.
And rock on.
Always.
Blame Canada.
Yeah. Why not?
And
we cop everything else.
Go into next. Cheers, all.
Be.